Back again 30 minutes later, Ryan Milano, Knight Uretsky. We're here for Game 2 as the Santa Barbara Foresters, they face off against the Conejo Oaks as they travel into George Sparky Anderson Field. It's a new game, but not a new day. The Oaks, they dropped the extra inning continuation to the Foresters just 30 minutes ago. 6-5 after a solo shot home run ended up being the difference in the score to give the Foresters a 6-5 win. Right now, Lucian Wexberg is going to be the pitcher for the Oaks, who's getting the start on the hill. He's going to be throwing to Anton Arrows behind the dish as Kendall Pettis leads it off. He squares to bunt. The first pitch misses, the count 1-0. The rest of the defense for the Oaks on the hot corner, it's Greg Melhoff, JT Naviak at shortstop, Grant Smith at second base, and Brendan Bobo at first as Wexberg paints the inside part of the zone for a strike. The count is 1-1. In the outfield, Zach Gregory's in left, Raul Sandoval in dead center, and in right, it's TJ Foreman. The 1-1 pitch to Kendall Pettis. Breaking ball that catches his arm. The first batter gets aboard with a hit by pitch, and the leadoff man is on for the Foresters. And that location is something that Wexberg has had trouble with, especially in his last start against the Orange County Riptide. In that start against the Riptide, Wexberg, he struggled a little bit. He gave up 6 earned runs in 1 1/3 inning. Ended up letting 5 men aboard without getting hits. Those came all on walks. He also allowed 2 hits in that performance. First pitch to Kachel in there for a strike. The count 0-1 to the second baseman today for the Santa Barbara Foresters. We saw him on the hot corner in the continuation game, but now he's getting the job at second base. Pettis dives back into first with the pickoff from Wexberg. It's not in time. Bobo doesn't even attempt to tag. Today, the Oaks, they are wearing their practice uniforms again. And the players, they like the practice uniforms. It's more breathable, it's lighter, and they say it fits better. Breaking ball in the dirt. Arrows blocks it. Prevents the runner from going over to second base. Pettis gave it a look, but did not commit. The count is 1-1 to Andrew Kachel. Kachel, he's someone who has been successful as he made the showcase game for the Foresters. He's batting .362 on the season. He made the showcase game as a third baseman, but as we mentioned today, he's playing second. He watches a pitch at the eye. It's missed the zone. The count is 2-1. He has had a solid eye all season. He has 8 walks compared to his 11 strikeouts. That came in 58 conference at-bats. If you include the non-conference, his batting average spikes just a little bit as he fights off the 2-1 to make it 2-2. So in conference, it's a .384 batting average. And you add a lot more walks to that total. He has 11 non-conference walks on the season to make it 19 walks in total. So the on-base percentage is high for Andrew Kachel, but it is heavily inflated by those non-conference games. Wexberg throws over to first. Back in time is Pettis. Pettis, he's a threat on the base paths. So far this season, he's stolen 13 bags. That's the second on the team. Only the man in the box has taken more. It'll be a nice battle between a speedy runner at first and Arrows. Pettis, he takes a few aggressive steps of a secondary lead, but the ball missed the zone on what I presume to be a pitch out to run the count full. A lot of attention being paid over to first base and Kendall Pettis. You don't want to mess around, though, with Andrew Kachel. As we mentioned, his propensity to walk. The 3-2 at the letters. Arrows doesn't like it. He gave a little bit of a head turn to the umpire, but Kachel, he's going to get aboard and advance the runner. The first 2 batters get on, and this has been a theme for Lucian Wexberg, as we mentioned, not only letting men on without getting hits, but also letting men on full count walks. Against that game against the Riptide, he had consecutive full count walks. I believe it was 4 in a row. That's going to bring up Dylan Campbell. He's playing third base today for the Foresters. No outs, 2 men on. Campbell watches a pitch in the zone, the count 0-1. Wexberg has been doing a good job of getting ahead in counts. It's just once he does get ahead, not letting the runner get on by letting them get back in the count. So the count 0-1 to Campbell, who has 35 at-bats on the season, a late addition to the roster for the Foresters this year. He watches an off-speed pitch drop below the zone. The count is 1-1. In his 35 at-bats, he's had 10 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's batting .400 on the season. He hails from the University of Texas. The runners go. The throw down to third. It's in time to get Pettis. Arrows shows off his cannon and catches another man stealing. Do not run on Anson Arrows. It is a bad idea. So the first out of the inning is recorded. But the runner at first in Kachel, he advances to second base. That pitch was also a strike, so the count is 1-2, a big swing in the inning.
And man, what a throw right there from Anson Arrows. It was a bullet to the third base side. It was there a couple of steps before even Pettis got there. I mean, man, what a throw. It can't get better than that.
And a great pick by Melhoff on the hot corner. Breaking ball, dives in, but just misses the zone. You heard a little bit of the Oaks bench. They wanted that pitch to be called a strike. It wasn't. The count is 2-2. Infield shifted slightly to the pull side. Wexberg gives a look back. Grant Smith, the man with the responsibility of holding that runner Kachelon at second base. Brendan Bobo has to have some range on a ground ball to the right side of the infield. There's a big gap between him and Grant Smith, who's standing almost directly behind the second base bag. Another breaking ball runs inside. Dylan Campbell scoots back to avoid getting plunked, and the count again has run full for the second consecutive batter. As we mentioned with Campbell, only 4 walks compared to 10 strikeouts on the season. Is a 1.23 OPS, so it's very high and is going to stay alive as the 6th pitch of the at-bat is fouled straight back, and the count is still 3-2.
Yeah, and his on-base percentage is still high at .462, but his batting average is .400, so a lot of the time he is getting on with the hit rather than the walk or fielder's choice or whatever way he could get to first, but the majority of those times is the hit.
Wexberg looks back the runner at second base. No throw. Campbell, he's had 14 hits on the season. He's also come across the plate 13 times. Those being 13 runs scored. 7th pitch of the at-bat as the runner goes, lined right back up the middle. There's going to be a play at the plate, but Sandoval is not going to test the arm, and the first run of the game is going to score as Kachel darts across the plate, and an RBI single for Dylan Campbell puts the Foresters on the board first.
Yeah, and there's not really going to be a play at the plate on a hit-and-run situation where you have the speedy Kachel, who's leading the Foresters in stolen bases, dart off to third, and he's halfway through there as the ball's being fielded in center field. And so right there, it's an easy hit-and-run play and an easy RBI single for Campbell off of the hit-and-run. But Wexberg gets a full count again and just can't execute, and that seems like that's been the theme of the season for Lucian Wexberg.
Wexberg checks the runner at first. It's Dylan Campbell. Goes to the plate, catches his zone for a strike. He's ahead in the count to Ryan Robleski. Count 0-1 to the right fielder for the Foresters. Robleski, he's batting .306 on the season in 49 at-bats. He has 15 hits. He also has 15 RBI. The 0-1, skied high into right center field. Sandoval going back. He's looking up. Foreman's the one who's going to retrieve it at the track. And the runner is going to tag up and a fly out to make the second out of the inning for Robleski. It kept carrying, and it's a little bit dangerous, but Foreman, his speed, able to get under it cleanly.
And that right there is just the wind here at George Sparky Anderson Field. It's always carrying towards right field. And, you know, Foreman right there, the ball just kept on carrying back at the track. He made the play and then was slammed against the wall. Had to throw it in quickly, but Campbell, easy tag up for him as that ball was hit into deep right center.
Now a left-handed batter to the plate, it's Steven Zobak. He's batting .375 on the season. First pitch into him, fought off into the Oaks dugout, and if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. We watched dodgeball on the way back from Orange County on Sunday, and Chris Torres used that advice very nicely as he ducked out of the way of a screamer coming right at his face.
Not sure if it hit anybody. It got really close.
It didn't. It careened against the back of the dugout, but that might have been one of the scarier plays that we've seen all season. A screamer into the dugout. The 0-1 elevated. Arrows gets out of his stance to block it. The count 1-1 to Zobak. Steven Zobak, the designated hitter today. Wexberg checks the runner back. Going back without much urgency is Dylan Campbell. He has 3 stolen bags on the season in limited time. That is one of the higher stolen base averages for the Foresters. He gives an aggressive secondary lead, does not go as the pitch finds the outside part of the zone. The count is 1-2, and Wexberg, it looks like he has found the zone more cleanly here. After hitting the first batter, walking the second, he threw 3 strikes and then a ball put in play against Dylan Campbell. That came on an 8-pitch count. So the first pitch strike to Robleski, and now is up 1-2 as Wexberg gives a look back to second base as Campbell trots back in. So the count's still 1-2. Steven Zobak looking for a hit. The 1-2 grounded outside of the bag at first base. So the count still 1-2. It will be done over again, and Wexberg right there changed up his location. He was hounding the outside part of the zone and then came in on the hands. Off the handle of the bat was Zobak, who was able to put wood on it. Zobak has 15 hits and 40 at-bats on the season. Runner in scoring position could improve on that 13 RBI total for him. The 1-2 fought off again. He continues to stay alive. So now 5 pitches, including 2 foul balls, as Zobak is trying not to go down swinging. He has not gone down swinging a lot this season. Only 3 strikeouts to his name on the year. That is compared to 7 walks. So Zobak, a power hitter in the 5 spot with 2 home runs on the season as well. Watch the pitch, missed low and away. Count is 2-2. And if you're a power hitter, someone who does not strike out but also slugs a high percentage, I think that is very important for the Santa Barbara Foresters to have you in the 5 spot. It's really a gauntlet of a lineup for Santa Barbara in terms of their batting averages on the season. Wexberg gives a look at second base. Naviak backs out. The runner goes. A swing and a miss to end the inning. It doesn't matter. Arrows, the throw down was not going to get him, but Wexberg strikes out the final batter. And so 1 run came across on just 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. The Oaks, they are trying to come back from an early deficit when we come back on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Back here for the bottom of the first inning. The Oaks, they're going to have to battle back as the first run of the inning, first run of the game, it belongs to the Foresters. They struck first in the first inning. Grant Smith going to lead off the game for the Oaks. An 8-game hitting streak for him came to an end in the last game against the Riptide, but he did get on 3 times in 5 at-bats. Once with a hit by pitch, once with a walk, and once on an error where he came around to score. First pitch to him, in there for a strike, the count 0-1. Pitcher on the hill today, it's Gabe Starks. Smith, batting .292 on the season, .427 on base, and completing the slash line is a .416 slugging. Watches a pitch at the knees for a strike, so he goes behind 0-2. His on-base percentage, one of the higher marks on the team. Only Ansoneros, as well as Brendan Bobo, have higher slugging percentage as consistent starters. The 0-2, Smith lines one the opposite way. Off the chest of Romback. It's going to be a close play, but Pettis gets to the bag before Smith. And despite the hard contact and the tough play, Smith is retired for the first out of the game.
And that was a close play right there at first base. But Starks on the mound, he's somebody the Oaks saw the last time they played in Santa Barbara. Both the pitchers both pitched in that game in Santa Barbara. And Starks in that game, he was impressive. He had high velocity that we're seeing right now. And, you know, right there, hard contact off the bat because of that high velocity that Starks throws.
Gabe Starks on the season, he's pitched 10 1/3 innings. He has a .348 ERA, a high-volume strikeout pitcher with 17 on the year and just 4 walks to go along with it. Zach Gregory, now at the plate, someone who likes to walk often, watches the first pitch miss high and away. The count is 1-0 to Gregory. And Gregory, his batting average is low. It's below the Mendoza line at 189, but his on-base percentage is ridiculously high. He's .494 on base. He just gets on any way he can and watches a pitch miss high and away. The count, 2-0. Gregory on the season, he has 18 walks. That's the highest total of anyone on the Oaks. The next closest is Hunter Call with 14. He's also been hit by a pitch 8 times this season. That is also the most. TJ Foreman in second place with 7. He's also reached on an error twice and a fielder's choice once, so Gregory doing his best to just get on any way possible. Today, he starts off with a similarly good count as he gets up 3-0, watching pitches and getting deep into counts. So despite him not being a high-volume hitter for average, his OPS is sitting just below 800 as he gets aboard on 4 straight pitches. Starks fails to find the zone, and the Oaks have their first base runner.
And Gregory, again, just finds first no matter how it can. Great eye, 4 straight balls from Starks, and, I mean, it's just a free trip. Gregory's doing it all year. It's another example of his great plate awareness.
Brendan Bobo, he's going to come to the plate next. Bobo on the season, he is batting .280. He has a slugging percentage of .484, .849 OBP. Pitch into Bobo, fought off and over the Oaks dugout. The count 0-1 from Starks to Bobo. Starks, a high-volume strikeout pitcher. Brendan Bobo, a high-volume strikeout hitter. He's struck out 24 times on the season. That is tied for the most of any Oak. Gregory, the lead at first, gives a hard jab step, but does not go as Bobo launches a pitch down the pipe. Count 0-2.
And on the board up here, that one clocked in at 94 miles per hour. So that'll just tell you how fast that Starks is gunning the ball right now.
Yeah, froze up Brendan Bobo, who now grounds one to the shortstop. The turn 2 and the relay to first ends the inning. So a 6-4-3 gets out of the inning in 1-2-3 fashion for Gabe Starks. And we will head to the top of the second where Lucian Wexberg is trying to shut down the lineup. When we come back on the Conejo Oaks live stream. Back here, top of the second inning, Nathan Rombach facing off against Lucian Wexberg, excuse me. First pitch into Rombach, brushes him back. The count 1-0. Rombach, an athletic play to just get out of the way of that, and we've seen Rombach so far today. If you do not remember the extra innings game that happened 30 minutes before this one, he ended it with a solo shot right back where it came from over the center field fence. Wexberg misses the zone. The count is 2-0. Rombach on the season, batting .263 on the year. Fights one off into right field. It's foul territory. Foreman gives it a look, but it's going out of play. So the count 2-1. That one just kept drifting foul. Looked like Foreman had a shot at it, but it landed about 10 feet outside of the fence. That home run was the first home run of the season for Nathan Rombach. Someone who is more of a contact type hitter that gets on any way he can. He has 16 hits on the season. Swings and misses. The count 2-2. He has 18 strikeouts on the year. That goes along with 13 walks. His on-base percentage sitting just under .400. The 2-2 fouled off. Arrows cannot squeeze it. An elevated fastball that Rombach barely catches up to. The count is 2-2 again.
And right now, the hitters for Santa Barbara, they're fouling off a lot of pitches. We've seen one foul off here with Rombach in this at-bat with 2 strikes. We saw 2 against Zobak and 1 against Dylan Campbell.
The 2-2 rolled over in between the hole, between short and third. Naviak and Melhoff give it a look, and a leadoff man is on for the second inning for the Foresters. This time it's Rombach with the second hit of the game for Santa Barbara.
And so far in this game, Lucian Wexberg, he's had a lot of 2-strike counts. Had 2 strikes to Nathan Rombach. He had 2 strikes to Dylan Campbell and 2 strikes to Andrew Cachel. And all of those runners have reached on base because of singles or walks. And right now, that's just been the story. Wexberg, he's getting 2 strikes. He just can't execute with those 2 strikes.
That's going to bring up Cade Higgins. First pitch to him. Golfed that one. Did not make contact. Pitch low and in. And the bat missed that one by about 6 inches. 6 inches from Higgins. The count is 0-1. Cade Higgins on the season batting .250. Watches the pitch outside. The count is 1-1. He has 20 at-bats. Just 5 hits coming in those at-bats. He does have a high walk-to-strikeout ratio. 6 times with a base on balls compared to 5 punch-outs. Now he goes behind in the count 1-2 as Wexberg continues to find the zone early. And like you mentioned, that's been the story for him. It's just, can he get that punch-out stuff? Runner on first is Rombach. Swing and a foul tip. The count, he stays alive, is still 1-2. So Andrew Cachel, he had a full count. Then Dylan Campbell came back. He fouled off a few pitches to stay alive. Steven Zobak, he went down in the count. He fouled off a few pitches, ended up submitting, striking out to end his at-bat. And we saw Rombach foul off some pitches, and this time Higgins does not stay alive for long as Lucian Wexberg punches him out for the second K of the day.
And that's probably the best pitch that Lucian Wexberg has thrown all day. He gets a off-speed breaking ball that just drops right over the plate. It fools Higgins, and that's a big out as you get the first out of the inning with a runner on first who was there with no outs. And, it's a big step you can turn to here.
Dylan Leach checks swing. The home plate umpire calls it himself. He went around the count 0-1. Leach, he's starting at catcher today. He's the typical man we see at catcher for the Foresters. The conclusion of the extra innings game, we ended up seeing a new man at that catcher position. That was Jared Thomas. Pickoff over to first. No play. So Leach, the count, 0-1. He's batting .133 on the season. He has 15 strikeouts to his name. He goes down on the count 0-2. An off-speed pitch catches the low and away part of the zone. The count 0-2, and Leach in danger of going down for the 16th time of the season. He has just 3 walks to his name this year. The 0-2 does not swing, and he goes down looking, back-to-back looking strikeouts for Wexburg, his third of the day, and 3 straight pitches sit down Leach to bring up the 9-hole hitter, Seth Stevenson.
And Leach, coming into this game, had 3 hits in his previous 8 at-bats, and right there, 3 straight pitches to him, and a strikeout looking, back-to-back strikeout looking for Wexburg, and man, that's a great bounce back after allowing the single to start this inning.
Seth Stevenson watches the first pitch miss low and away for a ball. He does not have any calculated stats on the CCL website or on the Foresters website, so we believe that this is his first game with the team. He's starting at shortstop today. Typically, we see Jack Rydell as the starting shortstop for the Foresters. First pitch to Seth Stevenson, back pick from Arrows, a good pick by Bobo to keep the ball from squirting out into right field. That pitch was a ball, so Stevenson ahead in the count 2-0. The runner at first is Nathan Rombach. Wexburg behind in the count for the first time this inning. And he will continue to be behind as a breaking ball runs off the plate. The count is 3-0. Seth Stevenson, he is a member of Temple College. That is not Temple in Philadelphia, but it is Temple College, the Leopards.
Looks like
he watches a pitch in the zone for a strike to count 3-1.
Looks like he's going to be going to the University of Tennessee. He's going to be a volunteer. So on November 11th, 2020, he just committed from Temple Junior College to go to Tennessee and play baseball there.
He lines one to second base on a single hop. Smith throws to first, and the inning is over. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and Nathan Rombach left on first base. The Oaks, they trail 1-0 when we come back for the bottom of the second inning on the Conejo Oaks live stream. Back here, bottom of the second inning, Anson Arrows is going to lead it off with a brand new walk-up song. The Oaks got sat down in 1-2-3 fashion in the first. Arrows is in the 4 spot today and behind the dish. He's going to start out at the left-handed side of the plate against a right-handed pitcher. That man on the hill is still Gabe Starks. Arrows batting .333 on the season with a .500 on base percentage. First pitch to him. Swings and misses at a pitch that would have missed low and inside. The count is 0-1. Arrows, 500 on base to go along with a .417 slugging. That makes his OPS .917. It's the highest of any regular starter. He swings and grounds one to second base, and it gets past the glove of Cachel. Anson Arrows is aboard with a leadoff single in the second inning.
And right there, the shift was planted a little bit more to the left side of the field. You saw Cachel, he was more closer to the second base place instead of first base. And so because of that, Arrows was able to ground it to the right side. Cachel had to dive, wasn't there. And maybe if he wasn't shifted as over as much, the play would have been made. Regardless, Arrows to first.
And the long-awaited return of Lauren Frank to the plate is going to occur now. He's starting the game at designated hitter. First pitch into him right down the middle for a strike. He does not offer, the count 0-1. Frank, he injured his hamstring in the last non-conference game before CCL play started. That was all the way back in mid-June. Now he's back from nursing that injury at the designated hitter spot as he goes down 0-2 in the count. When he left, he was the best hitter on the team with a .429 batting average. Those came on 3 hits over 7 at-bats. He did also have 3 strikeouts in those at-bats. He's trying not to go down for the 4th time on the season. The 0-2. Frank lifts one into center field. Pettis takes a few steps to his right, goes underneath it, and Frank avoids going down swinging, but does get out anyways in his return.
And that first pitch that Lauren Frank saw was right down the middle, and if I was him, I would have been swinging at it, watches it, and the next 2 pitches weren't as good. Did swing at that last pitch, was kind of over the plate, but it was an off-speed. It didn't get a lot of great contact on that as it hit to shallow center field.
It's going to bring up Greg Melhoff. Melhoff is starting at third base today and has a .158 batting average on the season. In 19 at-bats, he has 3 hits on the year. First pitch to him, catches the outside part of the plate for a strike, the count 0-1. Melhoff started out as an Oak with a few games without getting hit and then was named player of the game the last time we were here. That was last Saturday. He ended up having a 2 RBI double as the biggest hit of the game and of his season to this point. He watches the 0-1 miss low and away. The count is 1-1. Melhoff, he's trying to improve on his swing. He's putting in a little extra work, especially after the slow start, to try to get his swing back and ready for CCL play. The 1-1 cut on and missed. A breaking ball that dives away from the bat. The count is 1-2 to Melhoff. Big gap in the defense between Cachel at second base and the first baseman who is holding on arrows. That is Nathan Rombach. Even though a left-handed hitter is at the plate, we saw this when Arrows was at the dish. Cachel shaded towards that second base bag. The 1-2 catches the zone, and Melhoff knew it. He got rung up on 4 pitches. Off-speed pitch froze him, and 2 are down in the inning.
And right now, you can just see the connection right now. Starks and Dylan Leach, the man on the mound and the man behind the plate, they both go to the University of Arkansas. And you can see the Arkansas connection with them right now. We've seen Greg Melhoff get with 2 strikes to him, 2 strikes to Lauren Frank, 2 strikes to Brendan Bobo, and 2 strikes to Grant Smith. So they're firing a lot. They have a good connection, and they're connecting a lot and on the same page and getting a lot of strikes called.
TJ Foreman batting .269 on the season. With Arrows at first. First pitch to Foreman, grounded to shortstop. Stevenson makes the pick and throws to second for the fielder's choice. A great play by the new shortstop to end the inning for the Foresters. No runs on 1 hit. Arrows is stranded on first base after the leadoff single. And we head to the top of the 3rd inning when we come back on the Conejo Oaks live stream. Top of the third inning, the leadoff batter, Kendall Pettis, is now going to lead off the third. His first time up, he got hit by a pitch on the third pitch that he saw. He ended up getting caught stealing at third base as Arrows was able to gun him down. That ended up preventing another run. So through the first 9 batters, 4 base runners for the Foresters. Arrows catches the first pitch from Wexburg outside of the zone. A breaking ball that was a nicely executed pitch, but just did not get the call. The 1-0 misses again, so the count is 2-0 from Wexburg to Pettis. Wexburg so far today as the 2-0 swung on and missed a ball below the zone that was whiffed. He had 44 pitches coming into this inning. Make that 47 with the 3 pitches in this at-bat. The 2-1 inside part of the plate. Pettis doesn't like it. It doesn't matter. The count is 2-2. We've seen the Foresters a few times today look at strikes, especially on that part of the plate that is inside to righties, outside to lefties. We saw both with Cade Higgins and Dylan Leach. Breaking ball in the middle of the zone, and Kendall Pettis skipped out of the batter's box. He knew he was getting rung up, and that is the 4th of the day for Wexburg. The 3rd, that was a backwards K.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 3 that were backward K. All 3 of them have been his last 3 strikeouts. 2 the last inning, and now 1 here. So 3 of his last 4 batters he's faced have struck out looking.
First pitch misses away to Andrew Cachel. Actually missed inside, so the count is 1-0. Cachel, he walked on a full count. He has been the only run scored of the day for either team. The 1-0 runs away from Wexburg on the outside part of the plate. A little bit of arm side run to make the count 2-0. The 2-0 misses away again, so the count is 3-0. Wexburg, the last time he faced off against the Foresters, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, he had those 5 innings pitched, he allowed 4 earned, he was credited for the loss, but a solid performance from him in that game, and he lets Cachel walk for the second time today on 4 consecutive pitches. So after he did a fantastic job of fixing his location over the last, really 2 whole innings, he then lets Cachel get aboard without having to lift his finger. So a runner on first with 1 out in the inning. In that game against the Foresters, he had 2 walks. He already has 2 walks today. First pitch misses low to Dylan Campbell. Last time Campbell came to the plate, it was an RBI single in which he plated Andrew Cachel. Cachel has a stolen bag so far on the day, a double steal where Pettis was gunned out at third base. But Cachel, his speed was able to get him all the way to second, and then a hit and run was able to score him from that second base bag. Wexburg checks the runner at first. He dives back in safely. The count to Campbell is 1-0. Cachel with that stolen bag in the first inning makes it 9 thefts on the season. The 1-0 misses above the letters. The count 2-0 to Dylan Campbell. And Campbell is someone who has just been doing a great job of getting on all season. We mentioned a UT Austin product. And if you play at the University of Texas as the pickoff back to keep Cachel honest, son of a play, then that means you're a pretty good ball player. We see a lot of talent here in the CCL, especially with the Foresters, who seem to recruit highly touted products. And for their recruiting efforts, it has not been as successful of a season as they would have liked. As this pitch fouled off, it's going to be a close play, but go out foul. It bounced on the concrete before the stands. Anson Arrows gave it a look down the first base side, but it's not going to land in play. There wasn't going to be a play, and the count is 2-1.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that Campbell showed up to the team late. He's only played in 8 games coming into this game, and that's a lot to do with Texas making the College World Series this past year. And, you know, Texas, they have a historic program. They're just making the College World Series a lot. They've been the runner-up in the College World Series 6 times, and they've won it like 6 times.
Kachel's running, but the fouled pitch on the 2-1 count makes it 2-2. Kachel's going to have to retreat back to first base. He's not going to try to get that 10th stolen base of the season, at least not on that pitch, as Campbell fights one off. And Texas was just fantastic in really every sport this season. There were only 2 schools in the entirety of the NCAA that made March Madness in both men's and women's basketball, as the 2-2 off-speed pitch that catches Campbell swinging. The 5th strikeout of the day for Wexburg, the 2nd swinging K, and Campbell goes down for the first time today. So like I was mentioning, there's only been 2 schools who made both the men's and women's tournament in March Madness, made a bowl game for their football team, made the volleyball tournament, and then made both the regional in softball and baseball. And now, would you like to guess what those 2 schools are? Texas is one of them.
University of Oregon.
University of Oregon.
Of course. We're Ducks.
Yeah. I didn't think I was going to trick you. This ball gets away from Arrows, and Kachel is going to walk to second base. It was a pitch out, and Arrows couldn't corral it. It's a little bit unorthodox of something that we would typically see from Anson Arrows. He's normally sure-handed behind the dish, and that one, a pitch out that he was expecting, wastes a ball to Robleski and also lets the ball go back to the backstop, a mistake from the Oregon catcher. So Anson Arrows, he's going to be indicted into that Oregon tradition. Now a runner in scoring position on Kachel again. Fought off by Robleski. The count is 1-1. Last time Ryan Robleski came to the dish, he saw 2 pitches and ended it with a fly out to TJ Foreman. That went into the warning track in right center field. Just did not have quite enough power to lift it out of the stadium, even with the gusting winds out to that right field side. Wexford checks the runner. Smith bails out and to the plate. The pitch misses low. The count 2-1. Grant Smith, the man with the responsibility of holding on Kachel at second base. Smith standing almost directly behind the second base bag, shaded about 2 or 3 steps to the right of it, to our right of it when the pitch does come in. The 2-1 as Wexford turns back and keeps Kachel honest. So Kachel, he's a threat to steal any bags. Right now, he had the hit and run in the first inning. Trying to avoid that scenario is Wexford to keep him honest. Smith bails out. Kachel takes a strong secondary, and Robleski, he has to scoop back as the pitch ran inside. Count 3-1.
And Wexford right now, he's been trying to dominate that inside part of the plate to right-handed batters. You've seen him try to establish that line. Sometimes he does get the inside corner of that plate, but a lot of times he's been missing really inside like we saw in that last pitch.
The 3-1, the runner goes, and a swinging strike, so the count is run full, but Kachel, he takes third base, so now 90 feet away. But last time that the Foresters had a man on third base, that was in the first inning. Dylan Campbell was at that, or was stealing that bag. He would have been in safely, but simultaneously as he took the bag, Steven Zobak struck out. That was on a 2-2 count. Now we see a full count here to Robleski. Wexford trying to have the same fate in the third inning as he did in the first inning. This time with one less run coming across the plate. And the on-deck circle is Zobak. He's the man who ended that first inning with the strikeout. The 3-2 off speed in the zone and a strikeout looking, the 4th of the day for Wexford, and he strikes out the side on 6 pitches, and that will end the third inning as the Foresters strand a man on third base after the one-out walk. No runs, no hits, no errors in the inning, and the Oaks, they're trying to crawl back from a 1-run deficit when we come back in the bottom of the third on the Conejo Oaks live stream. Bottom of the third inning. 8-9-1, Sandoval, Naviak, and Grant Smith to lead off the third for the Oaks. Gabe Stark still on the hill. He's been effective so far through the first 2 innings of action. He's allowed a base runner in both innings, but just 10 pitches in both the first and the second to show for it. Sandoval cuts through the pitch. Count 0-1. And it seems like Sandoval has been having a little bit of trouble covering the plate. He is tied for the lead in strikeouts with 24 on the season for the Oaks. And I think that's because sometimes he steps a little bit outside of the box as the 0-1 pitch misses. The count is 1-1. And so it feels like pitches on the outside part of the plate, he lacks the coverage that is needed to stay alive. And I think that's a big reason for his strikeout total. When he barrels balls up and when pitches do come inside on the inner half, he's able to drive them sharply. But outside pitches, he stands almost no chance. This time an inside pitch flared out to right field. A sliding grab in right by Robleski steals a hit away from Sandoval. And despite the contact that was sharp, he was not able to get aboard in the first out of the inning as recorded.
And that's just a tough break for Sandoval right there. Initially off the bat, I thought that was going to get down, but a nice play in right field by Robleski as he just came in, slid, made the play. And Sandoval he sent down again this season. His hitting struggles continue.
Yeah, Sandoval batting 164 coming into the day. That average will drop slightly. JT Naviak, another member below the Mendoza line for the Oaks, watches a pitch, miss low and away. The count is 1-0. A slightly better average than what we see from Sandoval. Naviak batting 183. His on-base percentage is .304 on the season. Against the Foresters this year, as Naviak watches a pitch, miss low. The count 2-0. JT has a 111 batting average. That's 1 hit and 9 at-bats. His last at-bat against them came earlier today in the conclusion of the game. He was the final out, and the Oaks, the extra inning game that had much suspense as Naviak bounces one over the third baseman's head. Stevenson makes the pick at short, but it's not going to be a play. A great range play by Seth Stevenson. We saw that last inning where he was able to backhand a ball to get out TJ Foreman. This time he's able to get to one that bounced right over the head of Campbell, but not able to throw it to first, and that's a big reason why defensively he's going to be a big part of the Tennessee Volunteers organization in these coming years. But JT Naviak, he improves from 1-9 to 2-10 against the Foresters as he gets an infield single and gets aboard at first. It's going to bring up Grant Smith. His last time up, Smith grounded out sharply to the first baseman. That was Rombach. First pitch to him on the outer half of the plate, called for a strike, the count 0-1. And Grant Smith, he's been fantastic all season, but has not been fantastic against the Foresters. He's batting 1 for 14 on the season. That's .071 batting average and an .071 on base percentage against Santa Barbara. They've been his kryptonite all year as the 0-1 fouled off. The count is 0-2. And I think that is just a product of the fact that Santa Barbara, a lot of the games have been early in the season before Grant Smith really got on his hot streak at the plate. We've seen Grant Smith as of late be on fire at the plate so far. An 8-game hitting streak headed into the Sunday game. That was snapped. This pitch lined above the head of Stevenson at shortstop, and Grant Smith, he's going to start to improve that batting average against the Foresters. Back-to-back singles leave him in scoring position and at first base with one out here in the third inning.
And that ball just a little out of the reach for Stevenson over there at shortstop. He was roaming towards his right side, stuck out his glove, but it just got a little bit too far in front of him, and he wasn't able to get it. But like you said, back-to-back singles from Naviak and Smith, and now the Oaks have 2 runners on for the first time today. This is a big moment right now for Zach Gregory.
And Zach Gregory, we talked about Grant Smith and his struggles as we see a pitching coach trot out to talk to Gabe Starks and Zach Leach.
And in addition, this is also a very big at-bat. You see, Gregory knows Starks. They both play at the University of Arkansas, and so this is an Arkansas and Arkansas matchup. And so a lot of those times in those inter-squad matchups, the batter might have a little bit of an advantage because he knows what the pitcher is going to throw. And so right now, you have Razorback versus Razorback. Who's going to win? This is an exciting matchup.
Yeah, and we've seen Zach Gregory. He's been the Forester killer. He's been chopping down the trees all the season long against Santa Barbara. He has the highest batting average of any Oak against the Foresters at 429 and the highest on base percentage as well. 667. He's gotten on 6 times and 9 at bats, make it 7 for 10 with the walk in the first inning. Naviak at second, Smith at first. The first pitch to Gregory misses at his neck. Count is 1-0. Stevenson, he's shaded slightly towards the bag at second. Hole between third base and shortstop, but we've seen Seth Stevenson show off his range at that captain of the infield position. So he's been able to show that he can be shaded and still get to that backhanded ball that is going to his right. The 1-0 misses low and inside to Zach Gregory. The count is 2-0. There's also a big hole between first and second base. Kachel and Rombach, those second and first basemen. Kachel, he's helping Seth Stevenson hold on JT Naviak. And then at first base, Grant Smith has to be kept honest. The 2-0. Starks misses outside. The ball squirts out of the glove of Leach. And Gregory is ahead 3-0 for the second time today. First time up, we mentioned the walk. That was on 4 consecutive pitches. It seems like Gabe Starks is scared to pitch to his teammate.
Yeah, it seems like he's just avoiding the strike zone right now, knowing how good of a batter Gregory is and how patient he is at the plate right now. 7 balls he's seen. He hasn't even swung the bat. It's impressive.
3-0. Starks pumps the strike zone, finally gets the first strike of the game to Zach Gregory. That one just got in there, right at the letters. So the count 3-1 to Gregory. He might not be able to continue just watch pitches in there, but that's what he's been so good at all season, is just being selective, only swinging at his pitch. The 3-1. Starks misses inside, and 3 consecutive base runners leave the bases loaded for the Oaks. Naviak at third, Smith at second, and then the 5-pitch walk brings Zach Gregory to first base. And it's going to bring up Brendan Bobo.
And that's a great at-bat for Gregory. Doesn't have to swing the bat. Takes a pitch on a 3-0 count. It's called for a strike, and then wait for the 3-1 pitch. Gets a pitch inside, just avoids it. Takes a trip to first, and now the bases are loaded. And you have the power hitter Brendan Bobo at the plate, and this is the biggest moment probably all year for Bobo right now.
I don't know if I'd go that far. It's
the
third inning.
It's the bases loaded against the Foresters, a team that had their number all year.
Brendan Bobo, his first time up, he grounded out into a 6-4-3 double play. That cannot happen here for the Oaks. First pitch to him. Bobo gulps one into right center field. Robleski back. He makes the catch, tagging his Naviak. Smith set it to third, and an RBI sacrifice fly for Brendan Bobo evens this game up at 1.
And Bobo, all year, he's been first pitch swinging. Their first pitch swings, tried to send it over the fence, just didn't get enough under it. It was a ball hit to mid-right field. Coming over was Robleski as he made the play, but that advances the runner Smith to third, and it scores Naviak to tie this game up, and you still have runners at the corners with 2 outs.
And that is a successful at-bat for Brendan Bobo. He has been successful with runners in scoring position this season. He had 21 RBI coming into the day, make it 22 with that sacrifice fly. That leads the team. The next closest man is at 10 runs batted in. So Brendan Bobo, the biggest RBI threat, and that brings up Anson Arrows with another runner in scoring position. Gregory goes. Smith takes a jab step, and he's picked off at third base. And that was poor base running from Grant Smith. Zach Leach, he tricked him. Zach Gregory was going to take that second base bag. He actually did. But Grant Smith caught off of the bag. He thought that the throw was going to go down, and that ends the third inning. But not after the Oaks even this game up with 1 run scored after 2 hits by Gregory and Naviak. They do leave Zach Gregory on the base paths. This game's tied at 1. We'll come back. Top 4. Lucian Wexberg still on the hill. Top of the fourth inning, Ryan Milano, Knight, Uretsky. Knight, fourth inning means it's your time for play-by-play.
Thank you, Ryan. So, Lucian Westberg on the mound again for the Conejo Oaks. He's set to face off against Zobak, Rombach, and Higgins. The first pitch to Zobak misses away. The count now 1-0. Zobak today, his first time up, he had a 7-pitch at bat. Saw 2 balls, 2 strikes, and then fouled off 2 before ending in a strikeout. Second pitch in is called for a strike. Breaking ball over the plate. The count now 1-2 to Steven Zobak. Zobak originally from Northern California in San Jose, California, as the 1-1 in there for a strike. The count now 1-2 to Zobak. Zobak stayed in Northern California as he's going to be a junior at UC Berkeley. Bats on the left side of the plate, but throws right-handed, as now a times is called by the umpire. Everything squared away, and we're back here in the box. 1-2 the count. The pitch from Wexberg as it goes outside. Count now 2-2. Zobak this season, he's played a little bit of outfield and has pitched. He's played 16 games batting as the 2-2 misses away. Count now full 3-2. He's played 16 games batting overall on the season. Then pitching-wise, he's pitched in 8 games and has a 1-1 record with a 4.50 ERA. This time, broken bat, soft hit ball to right field. Foreman comes in, makes the play, and Wexberg, he loves breaking bats, does it again here against Zobak.
Yeah, and that bat went further than most hits. That bat almost got out of the infield. Right there, the ball was hit incredibly hard off the bat for the fact that it did break his bat, and I'm sure that Steven Zobak is not happy about that. It's another $300 he's going to have to spend on a bat. He might have to write an invoice to Lucian Wexberg, try to get some payment, maybe a payment plan for that new bat.
First pitch to Nathan Rombach misses away, 1-0 the count. And Wexberg, the last time he played the Foresters, he was pitching at Santa Barbara, and he broke a bat in that game and breaks another bat today. It's his favorite thing to do. The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike, and the count even now 1-1. Rombach today, he's been successful. He hit the home run in the first game over the center field wall, and then earlier in the second, he singled on the 6th pitch he saw. The 1-1, check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, so now the count is 1-2 to Rombach.
We've seen a few times today where the home plate umpire has called check swings by himself. We've seen a few of them. I don't think that he's actually gone down to either of the corner umpires yet.
The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball inside, misses. So the count now even 2-2. Rombach yesterday, 2 days ago against the Barons on Sunday, he went 2 for 3 in that game and had 2 RBIs as well as a walk. The 2-2, this one's hit into center field, drifting back over as Sandoval comes over, makes the play, and Rombach's retired on a fly out to center field. 2 are gone now here in the 4th.
Yeah, and Wexberg's just been incredibly dialed in over the last few innings. He led up 3 consecutive base runners to start out the first, but since then he's only allowed 2 runners on. One of them came in a 4-pitch walk, one of them came to start off the second, and since that point, he has had a ton of strikeouts, 6 Ks on the day, including striking out the side in the 3rd inning.
First pitch, broken bat just over the head of the leaping Grant Smith. Cade Higgins is on with a single.
And so another broken bat for Lucian Wexberg. He loves doing that, but that time he doesn't get the out on it. And right now, the Oaks trying to prevent a 2-out rally with a 2-out base runner for the Santa Barbara Foresters. We've seen the Oaks and 2-out base runners be their kryptonite all season long. So it's important right here for Dylan Leach to be sat down.
First pitch to Dylan Leach misses high, so the count now 1-0 to Leach, and that's the first ball that Dylan Leach has seen all day. His first time up, he saw 3 pitches, all of them strikes. The third one he looked at was sent down looking as Wexberg fires back to first in there safely as Higgins. Still awaiting the 1-0 is Leach. Leach catching today. Has been impressive behind the dish as pitch in, misses. Count now 2-0 to Leach with 2 outs and a runner on first in a 1-1 game. Both teams with 3 hits apiece, so pretty even fare so far. Wexberg looks back to first and now fires back to first, and there safely is Higgins.
Higgins is not a stolen base threat. He hasn't stolen any bags on the season. So the attention from Wexberg might not be necessary.
The 2-0 pitch. That one misses high and away, and now 3-0 the count to Zach Leach, and it's the opposite story. Mentioned the 3 strikes he looked at the first time, now 3 straight balls. And Wexberg in a little bit of danger of walking a runner into a scoring position play, as he does here. 4 straight balls to Leach, and now 2 runners on and 2 outs for the Foresters.
And we mentioned the 2 outs and how it's killed the Oaks. And right now, a base hit into the outfield is probably going to score Cade Higgins. Getting out Seth Stevenson is the most important thing on the agenda right here.
So Seth Stevenson comes up to the plate. The shortstop today has made a couple of impressive defensive plays. His first time up, though, he grounded out on the 5th pitch he saw. That was to the second baseman, Grant Smith, and that ended the 2nd inning, but stands in with 2 runners on and 2 outs. First pitch in is called for a strike. Count now 0-1. Mentioned it before, he went to Temple Junior College, that's over in Texas, and is going to be off to the University of Tennessee. Just committed there this past year in December. The 0-1 pitch to him. He hits it in foul territory, chasing over his Bobo on the run towards the wall, and he crashes into the wall, and that could be an injury in the making.
It's not. Bobo looks like he's okay, not too shaken up. He dove head first into the fence trying to get that ball. He's smiling, laughing it off. Made himself look a little bit silly, but I love the effort.
You love the effort. It's a dangerous play, though, towards the wall, especially with that right hand coming in as he's diving towards the fence. You got to be a little bit careful, but it's okay.
That's why they have the tarp on the fence. It's a little extra padding.
No, but okay. 2 runners on, 2 outs, 0-2 the count to Stevenson, the shortstop. Wexberg looks back towards second, in there safely is Higgins, and still awaiting the 0-2 is Stevenson. Stevenson has elite level speed, but they say that he needs to work on his approach at the plate. Now down 0-2. The pitch in from Wexberg, check swing, did he go? No, he did not. And the at-bat will continue 1-2 the count now to Stevenson.
It's the first time we've seen an appeal from the home plate umpire down to one of his corner umpires.
So Grant Smith, the second baseman, he's shading over, covering the bag at second where Higgins is. Zach Leach, who walked with 2 outs, he's over at first. Bobo not covering there. The 1-2 pitch to Stevenson misses high and inside, so the count's even now 2-2. So this game, 1-1, with both teams with 3 hits each. They've been battling the last 2 times they've played, but the Foresters, they've won every single game against the Oaks. Pitch into Stevenson, check swing, he went. He's heading over to first. The throw from Arrows in time, and Stevenson's struck out. It's the 7th strikeout of the day for Wexberg, and we'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning, still tied 1-1. You are listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here. Bottom of the fourth inning. The Oaks and the Foresters, they're still tied 1-1. Gabriel Starks still on the mound for the Foresters. This is his longest outing all season. His longest outing prior to was 3 innings pitched. That was June 17th against the SP Halos. That game, the Foresters won it 27-1, but he's not thrown over 2 innings all season, especially in CCL play.
27-1?
Yes, 27-1. That's a massacre.
That is a massacre.
First pitch to Anson Arrows, grounded right back up the middle. Starks fields it, flips it over to first, and Arrows is retired on the first pitch to him.
And that was a hard hit ball right back up the middle, and if it gets past Starks, it's going to go into the outfield for a single. But right there, Starks able to flash the glove. It went right into his glove. And right there, hard hit contact, but just unfortunate location as Arrows grounds out right back up the middle on the first pitch.
Arrows now 1 for 2 on the day after singling in the second and now grounding out here. Did see one pitch the last inning of the third, but Grant Smith was thrown out at third, and that ended the inning, bringing up Arrows again. Lauren Frank at the plate, and he swings and misses at the first pitch to him. 0-1 the count to him, and we mentioned it the first time he came up, battling back from an injury he sustained in the first 3 games of the non-conference play. His first time up, he saw 3 pitches before flying out to the center fielder. So 0-1, he swings at another ball low in the zone, and the count now 0-2. Frank, now 5 pitches he's seen, 4 of them have been called for strikes, 1 of them in the outfield. To the count, 1 out, nobody on. The pitch from Starks. That one misses away. It ran a little bit too far outside, and the count now 1-2 to Frank.
And for Lauren Frank, I'll be really interested to see what his batting eye looks like, because we really haven't seen an extended amount of him so far this season. And he hasn't walked yet on the year, and he has struck out 3 times in just his 7 plate appearances, make it 8 to this point.
1-2, Frank fouls it away to the right side. We'll do the 1-2 again. 5th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Lauren Frank. And Frank, he's from Playa del Rey, California. That's over by LAX. He went to LMU, which is also over in that LAX area. That's why he chose LMU. He had a couple of places to go. He chose LMU. Things just didn't work out for him, and now he's at Los Angeles Valley College. As he swings and misses at the 1-2, Lauren Frank goes down swinging, and now that's the 2nd strikeout of the day for Starks.
Yeah, and that one, it didn't even look like Lauren Frank was trying to even make contact with it. I think he started to swing and then knew that he was going to miss that ball, as it was a nasty slider out of the zone from Gabe Starks. And it just results in another K for Lauren Frank on the season.
Snap at the plate, Greg Melhoff stands in with nobody on and 2 outs after the strikeout from Frank and the ground out from Arrows. First pitch to him, it misses inside for a ball, so 1-0 the count to Melhoff. Melhoff, his first time up, he was the first victim of Starks. We mentioned that the last strikeout by Frank was Starks' 2nd strikeout of the day. The first strikeout was Greg Melhoff. Saw 4 pitches, and the 4th one was called for a strike as he looked at it. Went down looking. It was the 2nd out of the 2nd. 2nd pitch to Melhoff, in there for a strike. The count even now 1-1.
That's just a really hard part of the plate to protect. Low and inside to a guy like Melhoff, who has a batting stance where he stands pretty straight up. It's hard to get that bat angled down to those fastballs on the low and inside corner.
The 1-1, Melhoff goes opposite field, drifting a little foul, and does go foul. So now the count now 1-2 to Melhoff.
We've seen the velocity of Starks. You mentioned he was topping out at around 94 earlier today. So we see a lot of Oaks going the opposite way. We saw Sandoval try to punch one opposite way. We saw Melhoff right there try to punch one opposite way. Grant Smith, he got a single as well. And JT Naviak. So we've seen a lot of Oaks trying to go opposite direction. But they just haven't been able to drop it in there. Those singles by Naviak and Smith were pulled on the infield.
The 1-2 misses, so now the at-bat will continue 2-2 the count to Melhoff. And Melhoff, he started without a hit in his first 3 games with the Oaks, has had 3 hits in the last 2 games, 2 against the Pirates and 1 against the Riptide. He's 0 for 1 today, looking for a hit. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss from Melhoff. He goes down swinging. Second time today striking out for Melhoff. Third strikeout of the day for Starks. And no runs in the inning for the Oaks as they go down in 1-2-3 fashion. We head to the 5th inning, still tied 1-1. You are listening here on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Top of the 5th inning, 1-1 the score here as the Conejo Oaks, they're facing off against the Santa Barbara Foresters. New pitcher on the mound for the Conejo Oaks, it's Evan Gray. He's set to face off now against Kendall Pettis, Andrew Cachel, and Dylan Campbell, the 1-2-3 hole hitters for the Foresters. First pitch from Gray is grounded to the left side. Naviak, the shortstop, fields it, throws across the diamond, gets away from Bobo and into the dugout of the Foresters. Heading over to second now is Pettis on the air from Naviak.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's going to be an error on Naviak or on Bobo. I mean,
it's on Naviak.
I know it's on Naviak, but I'm not sure if that's where the blame should be placed. Because that throw was in time to beat him, and Brendan Bobo, he stretched out instead of stretching down the line. It wasn't the greatest throw, but I think that Brendan Bobo makes that play if he stretches towards the ball down the first baseline instead of straight out.
It's still an error on the throw by Naviak.
Yes, it's an error. It's an error credited to Naviak, but I'm not sure if the blame should be placed on Naviak. That's what I'm saying.
I think it still should have been a little bit on the line. Bobo's still stretched out. I mean, we could disagree, but runner on second and Pettis after the error. So now Andrew Cachel steps up with the runner in scoring position and nobody out. First pitch to him, he swings and misses, 0-1 the count. Final stat line for Lucian Wexberg. 4 innings pitched, he faced 18 batters, sent down 7 of them with strikeouts. He did walk 3 and hit 1 batter with the hit by pitch. Gave 3 hits and 1 earned run.
It's a great day for Wexberg.
Absolutely. The 0-1 pitch in there for a strike, and now Cachel, he goes down 0-2 to Evan Gray. Gray this season, he's 2-1 with a 6.54 ERA in 7 games pitched. His last performance was a loss. Gave up 2 runs against the Riptide and ended up getting credited with the loss. Came in a 4-3 situation, gave up 2 runs, and the Oaks trailed 5-4 as the pitch to Cachel misses away, so now the count's 1-2. The Riptide, they ended up winning that game 7-4, so after Gray gave up the lead, the Riptide padded 2 more runs on, and they ended up winning that. That was July 16th, 4 days ago. The 1-2, foul tipped by Cachel, and we'll do the 1-2 again.
Yeah, and Evan Gray today, he knows that he hasn't been as effective as he's wanted to be on the hill. In his last 5 outings, he's let up runs in every single one of them. And he knows that he's a higher caliber pitcher than that. So he's trying to fix some things on the hill and mechanically to get right. He was talking with me about a few of them today.
The 1-2, grounded up the middle, coming around third and coming to score is Pettis. Over to first is Cachel with an RBI single, and the Foresters, they take the lead. It's 2-1.
Right there, that's just a good piece of hitting by Andrew Cachel. He's able to stay down on the ball, ground it right back up the middle, and with the shading of the infield, where to a left-handed hitter, Grant Smith was shaded towards a pull side, and Naviak was on the left side of the second base bag. Hitting one slightly to the right of that bag, right up the middle, sharp contact is going to result in a run.
Cachel today, he's been impressive. 2 walks prior to that, did have 3 stolen bases and came around to score in the first. Was left stranded in the third, but now on first after the RBI single. And the Foresters are up by 1 again. First pitch from Gray to Dylan Campbell's roped on a line to left field. Coming to third now is Cachel. Heading to second is Campbell as the throw went to third. It's a double for Campbell. And now 2 runners in scoring position with no outs for the Foresters.
And so a similar start to the day for Evan Gray as we saw at Aleutian Wexburg, where Wexburg, he led off 3 straight base runners to Pettis, Cachel, and Campbell. And now we see, to start off the day for Gray, him led up 3 straight base runners to Pettis, Cachel, and Campbell.
So now up at the plate, Ryan Robleski, the right fielder and cleanup hitter today for the Foresters. The infield comes in a little bit. See Bobo and Melhoff standing at the grass. First pitch from Gray is fouled off by Robleski. Count now 0-1. Campbell today, he had a single in the first and a strikeout on the third, but that double right there on the first pitch he saw was impressive. Campbell, he's among the leaders, and if not the leader, in batting average for the Foresters in only the 8 games he's played, and has 2 hits here in the 9th game he's played all season. It's his 3rd double of the year. This one's fouled off by Robleski. To count now 0-2.
This is a good bounce back by Evan Gray. Through 2 pitches, elevated in the zone. You know your fastball is top-notch. It's tough for people to catch up with that. You get ahead in the count 0-2, and now it's about punching him out. Are you going to come again with another elevated fastball, or are you going to go low and away with an off-speed pitch?
0-2 the count, nobody out. 2 on, 1 at third, 1 at second. The pitch from Gray. This one's lifted in the air towards center field. Sandoval stands right where he is, makes the catch. Tagging are the runners. The throw goes to third. The throw not going to be made as it goes past Melhoff and into the dugout. The run now going to come in to score is Campbell. Looks a little shaken up after that slide.
Yeah, the ball hit him. That's why I rolled all the way into the dugout, is the throw from Sandoval hit the runner and Campbell as he was sliding into third base and rolled into the dugout. And that's one creative way to earn yourself a run scored, is kicking the ball into the dugout, kicking the ball out of play.
Well, it didn't look like he kicked it. It looked like it hit his
leg.
It
hit him, and then it went into the dugout. It wasn't intentional. I'm not accusing him of anything. But it hit him and then went into the dugout.
I wouldn't say he kicked it into the dugout. I'd say it hit him and then it went into the dugout. So after the sac fly, 2 runs come in to score as Andrew Cachel, he came in from third after the RBI single, and he advanced there after the double from Dylan Campbell. Dylan Campbell, he was the man on second. He tagged and went to third. The ball went off him and into the dugout as he was able to advance home for that. So now no runners are on. And 1 out as 3 runs have come in this inning from Evan Gray. Only 2 are earned runs, though, as Kendall Pettis, he reached on an error from Naviak.
And now Dave Solis is going to talk to that third base umpire. Well, he saw that it hit the runner and went out of play. And I don't think that he's too happy about the fact that the Foresters benefited on the fact that it hit off of one of their players and rolled out of play. It's not against the rules. There's nothing you can do about it.
So now Steven Zobak, the DH, he steps up to the plate. Gray still on the mound. First pitch to him. That one misses low. 1-0 the count. Zobak, he came up last inning and led off the inning. He flew out to the right fielder, TJ Foreman, on the 6th pitch he saw after getting a full count. The 1-0 from Gray. That one's lined to the shortstop, Naviak. He fields it before it touches the ground, and it's a line out for Zobak, and 2 are gone, back-to-back outs from Evan Gray. So now Nathan Rombach will come up to the plate, the first baseman. Stands in to face off Evan Gray the first time today. Rombach, the first 2 times he came up, he singled. That was in the second. Had a 2-2 count and then fouled away a couple of pitches before getting the single. First pitch to him here. It misses. So 1-0 the count. The second time he came up, it was last inning in the 4th. He flew out to the center fielder, Raul Sandoval, on the 5th pitch he saw. So a 1-for-2 day for Rombach. Pitch in from Gray bounces. The count now 2-0 to Rombach.
And Evan Gray right now, it's about location. It's about finding your zone, finding your location, and getting outs.
Rombach, a junior from Texas Tech University. The pitch, this one's grounded to the left side. Naviak, the shortstop, fields it. The throw across the diamond in time to Bobo. And 3 straight outs from Gray after allowing 3 runs. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-1 the score. The Foresters, they lead. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Oaks, they just surrendered the lead. It's now 4-1 after Evan Gray gave up 3 runs in the top of the 5th. TJ Foreman, Raul Sandoval, and JT Naviak, the 7, 8, and 9 hole hitters up due for the Oaks. Gabriel Starks still on the mound for the Foresters. First pitch to Foreman, misses away. 1-0 the count. Foreman, his first time up, he grounded into a 6-4 fielder's choice. That was a shortstop Stevenson as he flipped it to the second baseman Kachel to end the inning. That was in the second. Second pitch to Foreman, bounces, gets away from Leach, the catcher, and now the count is 2-0 to TJ Foreman.
And no one warming up in the Santa Barbara bullpen either, and that's because Gabe Starks has kept his pitch count incredibly low. Headed in this inning, he only had 46 pitches through 4 total innings.
47 pitches. That was the 49th, 50th pitch of the game for Starks, in there for a strike. The count now 2-1. Foreman this season, he's batting .269 with an on-base percentage of .412. Batting today in the 7th spot. Loves to be down there, although he has been at the top of the order before. The 2-1 misses inside, and now the count is 3-1 to TJ Foreman. Foreman has been hit by pitch in a couple of games recently. His hit by pitch is up to 7. Only has 2 walks on the year now. The 3-1 count, has a chance for number 3. Swings and misses at the 3-1, and the count is full now to TJ Foreman.
That was a really well-located pitch by Gabe Starks, right at the knees on the outer half of the plate. And Foreman, he knew that was too close for him to look at, but not close enough for him to get his bat on.
Foreman third on the team in plate appearances with 102 plate appearances, only behind Brendan Bobo and Grant Smith. He now lines one towards left field, coming over as Higgins. That's going to drop, and Foreman's aboard with a leadoff single.
And that's not the leadoff man you want to let on if you're the Foresters.
TJ Foreman, the fastest player on the Oaks team. He's aboard with a single. And now coming up to the plate is Raul Sandoval.
Foreman is the only Oak with double-digit stolen bags on the season. He has 10 on the year.
So now Raul Sandoval steps up to plate with Foreman on first. Back-to-back outfielders come to the plate for the Oaks as Sandoval swings and misses at the first pitch to him. 0-1 the count. Sandoval, his first time up, he lined out to the right fielder on a ball that he barreled. Robleski came in, slid, made the play, and he was the first out of the 3rd inning. Up for the 2nd time today, down by 3, the runner on first. Pitch from Starks as Foreman goes. It's called for a strike. Foreman slides in safely at 2nd. It's a stolen bag for TJ Foreman, and a runner in scoring position.
And that play could have been made. It looked like that the pop time from the catcher, Leach, was incredibly quick. Foreman just slid underneath a poor throw that was too far up the line to the first base side and too high for Kachel in order to glove and then get down to Foreman.
So to the count after the pitch was called for a strike. Foreman on second, Sandoval at the plate. The pitch. Swing and a miss from Sandoval. 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes, and Sandoval goes down swinging. 4th strikeout today for Stark.
And right now, Raul Sandoval just seems like he's having trouble putting his bat on the ball, and it's really been the theme of his season. Elevated fastballs, it seems like he can't catch up to, and off of the plate, pitches that are on the outside half, it doesn't seem like he can get his wood on either. And that's his 25th strikeout of the year.
27th strikeout of the year, 25th in league play. First pitch to JT Naviak, swing and a miss outside, so 0-1 the count. So Naviak steps in. Foreman still at second after the stolen base after his leadoff single. Sandoval the strikeout. Now Naviak, he's 1 for 1 today with a single. On the 3rd pitch he saw in the 3rd, he came around to score, the only run of the day for the Oaks, as he fouls off the 2nd pitch to him, and he's now behind 0-2.
So he got ahead in the count with a hitter's count his last time up. Was able to hit a ball hard into the hole between shortstop and 3rd to get aboard with a single. Now he goes behind in the count, 0-2. A different plate approach for Naviak that he's going to have on the 3rd pitch here.
0-2 the count, 1 out, the pitch from Stark. Bounces in the dirt, and 1-2 now. JT Naviak, his name, Jacob Thomas. That's where you get the JT from. Do you know that, Ryan?
I did. It's listed on his name sheet. I knew it for the same reason you did.
Yep. So 1-2 the count, 1 out. JT Naviak at the plate. The pitch misses away, and the count even 2-2. So out of all the names, JT, Jacob Thomas, or the Flying Hawaiian, Which one do you like the most?
I mean, I like the flying Hawaiian. But, I mean, it's tough when you're not the fastest player on the team anymore. TJ Formers usurped him.
Doesn't mean you still can't be the flying Hawaiian.
It's just not as impressive of flying.
The 2-2 pitch. Naviak grounds it to the left side. Stevenson misjudges it as the bounce goes to the outfield. Coming around third and coming to score is Foreman, and it's an RBI single for JT Naviak.
Yeah, and that's a tough play for Seth Stevenson to make. The field really was not kind to him. It bounced right on the edge of the grass in the infield and took a hop that was going right to him and bounced to the left, and Seth Stevenson had no chance. Sometimes the field just eats you up, and right there it did to Seth Stevenson.
So now up to the plate is Grant Smith, the leadoff hitter for the Conejo Oaks. He stands in for the third time today, this time with a runner on first and only one out in a 4-2 game after the RBI single from JT Naviak. First pitch on its way coming from Stark. Swing and a miss from Smith. Runner Naviak heads back to first. 0-1 the count. Smith today, he had a ground out to the first baseman in the first inning to start the game for the Conejo Oaks batting-wise. It was the third pitch he saw as he got down 0-2. Got down 0-2 again in the third, then hit a single. He was left stranded at third after he was out, he was out at third in the third. That ended the inning as the throw back to first. Naviak in there safely. Smith still at the dish. So 1-for-2 day for Grant Smith today. Didn't have a hit in his last game, but gets a hit here today as he gets down 0-2 for the third time today.
Smith, he's been doing a great job of getting on base right now behind in the count, but he was his last at-bat. In his last 11 plate appearances, he's reached base 6 times.
So if history repeats itself, the third pitch is coming up to Smith, and the last 2 times he's been down 0-2. The third pitch he's hit in play. As there's an 0-2 count and 1 out. The pitch. Smith hits it, but this time it's out of play, and we'll do the 0-2 again. Fourth pitch of the at-bat coming up to Grant Smith. Zach Gregory on deck for the Oaks if he comes up and Grant Smith doesn't ground into a double play. Is action happening now in the Santa Barbara Foresters bullpen. Looks like a left-hander warming up. The 0-2 pitch, swinging fouled off by Smith. Naviak was taking off towards second. Smith fouled it away towards the backstop, and we'll do the 0-2 again for the second time.
And it was a great job to stay alive by Grant Smith. It was an off-speed pitch. It looked like it fooled him a little bit as it started in the zone and then dove down right to the ground. And Smith, he hit it almost simultaneously when it was barreling into the dirt. So I thought it was actually a strike, but he just got a little bit of wood on the end of the bat on it, and that's a great way to stay alive.
The 0-2 pitch, fouled off by Smith. 3 straight foul-offs by Smith, and he's keeping the at-bat alive. Still 0-2 the count. This season, Grant Smith has 20 strikeouts in 90 at-bats. Does have 10 walks on the year, but nowhere close to a walk here with an 0-2 count. In danger of strikeout number 21. Throw back to first. Naviak in there safely. Romback, the first baseman, was there. He didn't tag Naviak, and still awaiting the 0-2 is Grant Smith. This is the longest inning of the game for Stark, as the pitch to Smith is hit in the air towards right center field, going back over is Pettis and Robleski. Pettis calls him off, makes the catch, and heading back to first is Naviak, and now 2 are gone.
And right there, Smith, he just couldn't barrel it up well enough. He got a little bit too far under it, and after a long battle, was not able to put a ball in play. But I still think it was, after going down 0-2, a good job at the plate in terms of protection from Grant Smith. And right there, if you put a ball into the air in right field, it's a good thing at Cal Lutheran, because if you put it in the air with the gusting wind into right, opposite way if you're a right-handed hitter, most of the time it's going to continue to carry, and what looked like a weak fly ball. It went into mid to deep right center field and had a chance.
So now Zach Gregory at the plate. The first pitch to him misses away, 1-0 the count. That was the 21st pitch of this inning from Stark. Prior to this inning, he had 10 pitches in the first, 10 pitches in the second, 16 pitches in the third, and only 11 pitches in the fourth. So longest inning-wise pitching or pitch count throw from Stark. 1-0 the count to Gregory with 2 outs and a runner on first. The pitch from Stark. That one catches the zone. Count now 1-1. Zach Gregory today, he's gone aboard both times he's stepped to the plate. He has yet to swing the bat, as he had a 4-pitch walk in the first and a 5-pitch walk in the third after he got ahead 3-0. Watched a 3-0 pitch for a strike, and then the 4th pitch brushed him inside. Headed to first and stole second base, but was left stranded there after Grant Smith was thrown out at third. 1-1 pitch misses away, and Gregory still has yet to lift the bat off his shoulder. 2-1 the count.
And if you're Zach Gregory, why not? You're familiar with the pitcher. He's not been throwing strikes, especially to you. Why give him extra strikes? Why give him extra pitches? Keep the bat on the shoulder until he gives you a meaty pitch that you're able to drive. There's a big gap in left center field, and we know Zach Gregory has pull power. He had 2 home runs so far this season at Cal Lutheran.
The 2-1, that one catches the knees. Gregory looks back towards the dugout, didn't like the call, and the count even now 2-2. Gregory with 2 strikes for the first time today.
And that's a pitch that Zach Gregory can't do anything with. It's been a consistent strike call, low and inside to left-handed batters, but right there, Zach Gregory, you're not doing anything with that pitch.
Naviak still at first after the RBI single. The 2-2 pitch. Gregory lines it up the middle, dives past Stevenson. Heading to third now is Naviak. Fielded in center field is Pettis. They're going to hold Naviak at third. Sliding into second safely is Gregory, and it's a double and 2 runners in scoring position for the Oaks. And Brendan Bobo is coming up to the plate.
And right now, if you need a 2-out hit, and if you need some runs batted in, you make the call to Brendan Bobo. He has been driving in runners all season long. 22 coming into this at-bat. He already has 1 today. He had a sac fly in the 3rd inning. That's the only run that came in before this inning for the Oaks. And after Conejo gave up 3 runs in the top of the 5th, it would be great for them to drive in Naviak and Zach Gregory in order for them to come back and come even.
Looks like a pitching change going to happen right now for the Foresters, so we're going to step aside and we'll tell you who's on the mound for the Foresters coming up after this break. The Oaks, they have 2 runners in scoring position. As they trail by 2, it's 4-2. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Bottom of the fifth inning, 4-2 the score. The new pitcher on the mound for the Santa Barbara Foresters, that's Ian Churchill, the left-hander. You have a lefty-on-lefty matchup as Brendan Bobo steps up to the plate to face off against the southpaw in Churchill. 2 runners on and 2 outs. The first pitch to Bobo, off speed, catches the zone, 0-1 the count. Churchill this season, he's appeared in 4 games and has yet to give up an earned run, has an ERA of 0.00. He has 7 strikeouts in 5 innings pitched and has only walked 1 batter while he's only allowing 1 hit. Second pitch to Bobo, misses away, the count even 1-1. That 1 hit that he did allow, that was his last game he pitched. That was against the Barons on July 18th, 2 days ago, in the 6-3 victory for the Foresters. 1-1 the pitch. Swing and a miss from Bobo on a pitch away and in the dirt. Got him swinging, and the count now 1-2 to Bobo.
And that's just really good pitch sequencing from Churchill. He threw 2 fastballs. He was locating the low and away part of the zone and then threw a slider right back to it. It looked like he was going to catch the outside part of the plate and just dove away from Brendan Bobo.
Bobo today, he had a grounded out into a double play in the first and a sac fly that brought home a run in the third. The 1-2 is a pitch inside that he fought off, grounded it down the first base line and foul. We'll do the 1-2 again. 5th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Bobo. Churchill, a late addition to the Foresters roster. He's originally from Santa Barbara, so playing in his home city with the Foresters, but goes to the University of Arizona and was there with the Wildcats as they headed to the College World Series. So this is only the 5th appearance all year for Churchill. The 1-2 pitch. Fought off again, this time inside. Bobo almost caught it at the hands. We'll do the 1-2 again.
Yeah, and Bobo's doing a good job of protecting right now. Churchill's not going to give him something over the heart of the plate. He went outside with his first 3 pitches, then busted Bobo inside with the last 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to that outside part of the plate.
Speed on the bags and JT Naviak at third and Zach Gregory at second. Brendan Bobo at the plate, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Churchill got him swinging. First strikeout of the day for Churchill, and he gets out of the jam with a 6-pitch at bat, ending in a strikeout and ending the threat of the Oaks as they're only left with 1 run on the board in the inning off the RBI groundout by JT Naviak. We entered the 6th inning, 4-2 the score. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Top of the 6th inning. Cade Higgins coming up to the plate for the Foresters. He's followed by Zach Leach and Steph Stevenson. Evan Gray still on the mound for the Oaks. Gave up 3 runs in the top of the 5th inning. as the first pitch to Higgins misses outside. Count now 1-0. Gray, in that first inning that he pitched in the fifth, he gave up an error to Kendall Pettis. He reached on air, Then Andrew Cachel hit an RBI single. Dylan Campbell then hit a double as a swing and a miss from Higgins. The count even 1-1. Then Ryan Robleski hit a sac fly that plated both Cachel and Campbell after a throw from Sandoval found its way into the dugout. The 1-1 pitch from Gray misses inside, and the count now 2-1. And then after that point, a line out to the shortstop Naviak and a ground out to the shortstop Naviak. So Gray, 3 straight outs after allowing the first 3 runners on. This one's fouled off by Higgins, and the count's even 2-2 from Evan Gray.
And Evan Gray, you feel a little bad for him in the last inning, where first runner gets on with an error, then the 2 other runners get hits, and I think the damage would have been incredibly minimized if that first out is recorded.
The 2-2 pitch, got him looking. Evan Gray, his first strikeout of the day. It's a backwards K, and a 5-pitch at bat ends in a strikeout for Higgins.
And Cade Higgins, he hasn't been swinging the bat. He struck out 5 pitches both times that he's been sat down today. He did get a single sandwiched in between that, but he hasn't been protecting the plate very well.
Snap to the plate, Zach Leach. Z stands in for the 3rd time today. First time facing off against Gray. First pitch misses, so the count's 1-0. Leach today 0 for 1 with a walk. That walk came in the 4th inning, his last time up. It was a 4-pitch walk, but he was left stranded at first after the strikeout from Seth Stevenson. He now fouls off the 1-0, and the count's even 1-1. Prior to that, he had a 3-pitch at bat in the 2nd, which all 3 pitches were strikeouts, the 3rd one, or strikes, and it ended in a strikeout as he went down looking. He was the 3rd victim from Lucian Wexberg. Pitches inside, and the count's now 2-1. Wexberg, he ended up finishing with 7 strikeouts, and he had a lot of them looking. 4 of his 7 strikeouts were looking. He was the second looking. Ball outside, so now the count's 3-1 to Zach Leach, the catcher, with 1 out and nobody on.
And Evan Gray, it's location that he's been working on. That's one of the changes he made in his mechanics, is to try to improve that location and his balance on the mound.
This one's fouled away, and the count is full to Zach Leach.
And when I was talking with him before the game today, he was telling me that he's really just, the main problem he's seen is that he has become an off balance. He's been overextending on the mound, so he's shortening up that front stride and the front leg to stay more balanced on the hill and make sure that he can locate his pitches the way that he wants to.
The payoff pitch fouled off by Leach, and we'll do the 3-2 again. Longest at bat of the game for Evan Gray. Prior to that, 5 pitches was the longest at bat. This one, the 7th pitch is incoming. The 3-2 pitch again. That one misses away, and Leach is aboard with a walk for the 2nd time today.
And right there, he just hangs a breaking ball. It was a pitch that he was trying to have drop in on the outside part of the plate, presumably trying to get a looking strikeout. But right there, it just hung on him, did not break, and then was left just above the zone, high and outside.
So now Seth Stevenson, he comes up to the plate, the shortstop today. He's 0 for 2 with a runner on first and 1 out.
His name is a tongue twister.
Yeah, you want to say Steph Stevenson, but it's Seth. Stevenson shows bunt, bunts it right back to Gray, picks it up. Nobody was at second. He throws over to first. It goes over the head of Bobo, heading over to second, and heading to third now is Leach. Leach will stay there. Stevenson stays at second, and a bunt that went right to the pitcher ends in 2 runners in scoring position for the Foresters.
Yeah, and that you could, Evan Gray, you have to make the throw over to Bobo at first cleanly, but he looked to second base to try to get the play, and neither Smith nor Naviak were covering the bag at second. It forced Evan Gray to change quickly, and then we know Stevenson, he is known for his speed down the line, so he was forced to change direction quickly. It was going to be a tighter play at first than Gray was expecting. Rushed the throw, and it went over the head of Bobo. And right there, if you're Naviak and Smith, you have to be, at least one of you, covering the bag at second base.
So now Stevenson on second, Leach at third, one out, and the infield in for the Oaks. Kendall Pettis, the center fielder, up to the plate for the fourth time today. First pitch to Pettis, that one misses high, an off-speed pitch that missed, 1-0 the count. Pettis today, he was hit by a pitch in the first and then left out at third after Anson Arrows threw him out. He was struck out looking in the third and then reached on an error in the fifth. Came around to score off of that error. Swing and a miss from here, and the count's even 1-1.
This is the first time that we've seen Kendall Pettis not lead off an inning. He led off the first, led off the third, and led off the fifth. It's the first time that Stevenson's got on. So Pettis, he's now trying to do his damage with runners on base.
4-2 the score. The Foresters, they lead here in the top of the sixth inning. Evan Gray on the mound. The 1-1 pitch. Got it for a strike, and the count's now 1-2 as Pettis looked at it, didn't like it, but it'll have to settle in with 2 strikes. No runs in the inning so far, but 2 threatening in scoring position as the infield is in. Naviak, Smith, Bobo, and Melhoff all at the grass. The 1-2 pitch. Pettis goes opposite field, a blooper. It's going to fall in right field. Coming around to score is Leach. Heading around third is Stevenson. The throw to second sails over the head of Naviak, heading towards the bullpen. Going to third is Pettis. He taps on third and heads home. The throw from the shortstop not in time, and Pettis scores. It's a Little League home run, and the Foresters, they score 3 runs on a soft hit ball to right field.
And that was just a comedy of errors for the Oaks. And I don't know how you could play a ball much worse than that. Right there, a soft hit ball that Brendan Bobo, if he was in his normal position without being on the grass, probably gets to. And that's not the fault of Brendan Bobo, but it drops TJ Foreman and then throws it to second. Naviak tries to apply the tag. In the effort of trying to apply the tag, he lets the ball get behind him and go all the way to the wall on the left field side. Zach Gregory has to run over from left field, throw it home. The throw actually beat Pettis to the plate, but Anson Arrows then trying to make the tag. Couldn't catch the ball. You have to catch the ball.
First pitch inside to Cachel. The count now 1-0. Just a tough break for the Oaks today. A lot of errors. 4 errors so far, and we're not even through the 6th inning. Still 2 outs to go here in the top of the 6th. As now this one sent for a ride to right field. Going back at the wall is Foreman at the track. He makes the catch, and Andrew Cachel's retired on a hard hit ball to right field.
The third baseman, number 6, Dylan Campbell.
So Evan Gray, he came into the game in a 1-1 scenario. In the last 2 innings, 3 runs have come in each of the innings, so 6 runs total for the Foresters. 7-2 the score now after the Oaks. They did score 1 in the bottom of the 5th inning, which was a tied game going into the 5th, has really blown it open. As Gray gets a grounder right back to him from Campbell, he flips it over to first, and Campbell's retired on the ground out. 3 runs come in on the inning off of the Little League home run by Kendall Pettis. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 7-2 the score. The Foresters, they lead. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Oaks, they're trailing by 5. It's 7-2 after 3 runs came in the top of the 6th inning for the Foresters. Ian Churchill still on the mound as the first pitch to Anson Arrows misses high, and the count's now 1-0 to Arrows. Arrows today batting on the left side of the plate for the first time and as a right-handed hitter. Previous 2 times was as a lefty as he swings and misses at the 1-0. Count even now 1-1. Arrows on the right side of the plate. He had a single in the second and then a ground out to the pitcher in the fourth. Has only seen 3 pitches. Third pitch in, it misses high, and the count's now 2-1 to Anson Arrows. Churchill, he came in and got a strikeout to Brendan Bobo after he came in relief for Gabriel Starks. The 2-1, Arrows fights it off, and the count's even again at 2-2. Arrows, batting in the cleanup spot for a couple of times this season, has moved up and down the order, but consistently has been in the middle of the order as of lately. He's one of the better players for the Oaks. The 2-2 pitch, Arrows grounds it to the left side. Stevenson, the shortstop, picks it up, throws across the diamond, and Arrows is retired for the second time today. One is gone here in the 6th.
Yeah, and right there you saw Anson. He was hustling down the line. He made it a tight play. It had to force a quick throw from Stevenson. Arrows, he's one of the more athletic players on the team. His speed, even as a catcher, is enviable, and he almost makes a tight play and beats out an infield single, but just a half step too late.
So now Lauren Frank, the DH, comes up to the plate for the 3rd time today. 0 for 2 as the first pitch to him here in the 6th misses inside, 1-0 the count. Frank, his first time up, he saw 3 pitches before flying out to the center fielder. Then in the 4th, he struck out on the 5th pitch he saw after fouling off a couple of pitches. Swings and misses at the 1-0, and the count's even 1-1. Frank, coming into the day, he was batting .429, but that was only 3 hits in 3 games. He had 1 hit in each game, so he was 3 for 8 entering. Ball misses away, and the count now 2-1 to Lauren Frank. Did have 1 triple on the year. That was the very first game of the year when the Oaks won 15-2 against the Ventura County Pirates. He swings at a ball in the dirt here from Churchill, and the count's even 2-2 for the second straight batter.
Well, we've seen Lauren Frank a few times today. Balls that have been below his knees, he has been swinging at, and we know Lauren Frank's power. He is one of the more powerful hitters, if not the most powerful hitter on the team, and that is including Brendan Bobo.
The 2-2 pitch, looks at, got him looking. Frank is sent down for the second time today, this time looking for the first time. Second strikeout of the day for Churchill, and 2 are gone.
Now batting, the third baseman number 4, Greg Melhoff.
So now Greg Melhoff will step up to the plate with nobody on and 2 outs. The Oaks, they're trailing by 5. It's 7-2. And Churchill right now, he's been impressive. 3 batters he's faced, has forced a ground out and 2 strikeouts on only 16 pitches.
And the third base umpire, he called time, and I'm not quite sure what the discussion is about. Might be some sort of injury. Notice that the pitcher might be shaken up a little bit. Not too sure. It looks like a trainer, and then Bill Pintard, Bill Pintard is the head coach for the Foresters as well as one of the managers. He's going to walk out and talk to the umpire. I'm perplexed about why the stoppage.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
And it looks like a trainer is going to come out. And it looks like it's going to be the shortstop, Seth Stevenson, who is getting tended to. Might be some blood on his hand.
Looks like maybe either blood on his hand or... I'm not sure. The way he came in, he had his head up. Maybe I was thinking bloody nose, but now it looks like he just got something for his hand. And no, it looks like he does have...
No, I think you're right.
It was a bloody nose, yeah. It's not really an injury. I think his nose is just dry based on this...
Dry heat.
Dry heat, yeah.
Southern California. He's not used to it. He's a Tennessee kid.
Well, he's from Texas. Even more humidity.
Yeah, exactly. He's not used to the West Coast. It's a different heat down in the South. It's not bloody nose heat in the South.
It's you walk outside and you sweat in the South.
Hey, you walk outside and you sweat here. It's not as bad.
Not as bad. Not as bad.
Not nearly as bad.
You just walk out in the South and the humidity's so bad you're just drenched in sweat. Here in the West Coast, it's hot and you just feel exhausted. Nevertheless, Greg Melhoff at the plate after Stevenson seems fine after the bloody nose. 2 outs, nobody on for Melhoff as he's 0 for 2 today. He grounds one towards the right side, coming over as Cachel. He picks it up, fires to first, and Melhoff's retired. An 11-pitch 1-2-3 inning for Ian Churchill, and we head to the 7th inning with the Oaks trailing by 5. It's 7-2. You are listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you, top of the 7th inning. Ryan, you left me a 1-1 game. Ryan, now I give you a 7-2 game.
Yeah, I'm not as happy about it as I was when I handed it off to you. Evan Gray, he's still on the hill. He's pitched 2 innings, the 5th and the 6th. He has had 6 runs come across on his watch. Few of them being unearned, errors in the 5th, and then 3 errors in the 6th. Ended up as a result for a lot of those runs. Ryan Robleski now leading off the inning. Watches a ball in the zone for a strike, the count 0-1. So, I haven't actually thought that Evan Gray has been pitching poorly, but the defense behind him has been filled with errors. An error by JT Naviak, an error by Gray himself as the 0-1 skied high into shallow center field. Naviak going back underneath it, calls off everyone, makes the play, and the first out of the inning is recorded. And then 2 throwing errors, one by TJ Foreman and then one by Zach Gregory. I'm not even sure if they should be the ones credited with the errors, as I think that both receptions by JT Naviak and Anson Arrows were the main cause of the balls that got away, but the errors are credited to the outfielders. Steven Zobak up for the 4th time today. Thinks about the first pitch, does not offer, the count 1-0. Zobak, in the first inning, struck out down the inning. In the 4th inning, led off with a flyout to TJ Foreman, and then in the 5th, lined out to JT Naviak. Count is now even as he watches a pitch on the inside part of the plate for a strike, the count 1-1. Zobak, he's trying to get his first hit of the day. He's put balls in the air, but has not been able to get them down. This one, broken bat into shallow right field. Foreman coming in, makes the play, and Zobak's 0 for 4 and add a broken bat to his record.
Seen a lot of broken bats from the Foresters today. I think that's the third one.
It is. It's the third broken bat we've seen today.
Better have a big bonfire party in Santa Barbara, man.
It's going to bring up Nathan Rombach. Rombach, the final hitter that has not batted in the last 2 innings.
It's actually a pinch hitter. It looks like number 4.
A pinch hitter, it's Max McGuire who's coming in. Max McGuire, he is a man out of Oklahoma, a freshman at the University of. Watches the first pitch, miss, high and tight, a ball, count 1-0.
Also the son of Mark McGuire.
Yes, the son of Mark McGuire is batting .053 on the season. So, in conference play, it's been abysmal as he grounds one up the middle. Smith fields it on the left side of second, throws to first, and that average will decrease as a 1-2-3 inning for Evan Gray, his first perfect frame of the day as we head bottom 7 when we come back on the Oaks live stream. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Oaks, they're trying to come back from a 5-run deficit. They scored a run in the 5th inning to cut the lead to 4-2 and then let up 3 runs in the top of the 6th. Back-to-back perfect frames for both Evan Gray, but preceded that was Ian Churchill, who went 1-2-3. Churchill's day is done after just 1 1/3 innings pitched. Cooper Randall now coming in to pitch for him, another replacement in the outfield. Kendall Pettis, he's moved to left, and in center field is Josh Stinson. It looks like Cade Higgins has taken a seat for the day. TJ Foreman is leading off the inning.
I believe there's also a new right fielder, but I'm not sure who it is.
We'll try to figure that out if there is a new right fielder. At first base is Max McGuire, who took over in the hitting department for Nathan Rombach. First pitch to TJ Foreman in there for a ball, so missed the zone. The count 1-0 on the first pitch from Cooper Randall.
I think we definitely got to invest in some binoculars for those outfield substitutions.
Foreman, hard hit ball outside of the back at first, the count 1-1. Cooper Randall, he has a 1.74 ERA on the season through 10 1/3 innings pitched. 16 strikeouts to his name on the year. He allowed 2 earned runs against the Arroyo Seco Saints. He was credited for the loss in that game. He pitched 2/3 of an inning. But those are the only runs that he's given up all season long. Foreman bounces one to third base. The pick not able to be made. Stevenson keeps it from going into the outfield, but Foreman is aboard for the second time today with an infield single. That is the back-to-back at-bats where he's led off the inning with a hit. The last time was in the fifth, and that's the last time that the Oaks were able to score.
And they're going to credit that as an error here.
So Foreman does not get the home field call of the infield single. An error by the third baseman, that is Dylan Campbell, leaves Foreman at first base. Dylan Leach, the man behind the dish. Foreman a threat to steal. He does not go, but he is now as the ball goes to the backstop. Count 1-0 to Sandoval as easily headed into second base is TJ Foreman.
And that ball right there just drifted a little bit too far outside the plate, and it was a fastball that just got there in a hurry. Leach, he couldn't catch up to it as it just went beyond his glove and towards the backstop. An easy advancement for Foreman.
Raul Sandoval today, 0 for 2. 3 pitches in both at-bats, a 3-pitch K in his last one. He also flew out to right field. It was hard contact on the line the other way, but it was caught by Robleski. Time call by the home plate umpire. Sandoval steps out of the box. Foreman with the lead at second base. Holding him on is Cachel. Big gap on the right side of the infield. Back pick, throws into the outfield. Foreman's going to go to third. He's going to stop there as the ball is thrown into the infield. Gets away. Now Foreman's going to come home. He's to the plate. There's no throw in TJ Foreman. He steals every bag, and he takes a run away from the Foresters. It's 7-3.
And man, the amount of overthrows that I've been seeing in this game just makes me question whether these guys are college athletes or not. Because right there, the pitcher Randall, he threw it into the outfield. Then the throw came in. It missed the second baseman and shortstop at second. And then Foreman was able to advance from second to third. And then from that overthrow at second, he was advanced from third home. So the amount of errors we've seen, that was got to be the fifth or sixth error today.
First pitch is a strike to Raul Sandoval, or first pitch in the zone, rather. Count is 1-1. And Foreman, he took all 3 bases, but I'm not sure if any of them are credited for a steal. He took second on a wild pitch as the 1-1 to Sandoval. Lining to shallow right center field, coming in and making the play is the right fielder. We'll get that number for you as the right fielder throws it in over the head after the play is made. That is Ethan Bates, who is playing in right field right now. So, a large cacophony of errors and missed throws. And going back to the Foreman point, he reached second on a wild pitch, then reached third after the ball was thrown into the outfield on a missed pickoff. I'm not sure if that, I don't think that is credited as a stolen base. And then the error on the throw back in allowed him to reach home as JT Naviak watches the first pitch for a ball.
So 2 errors on that. So now we've seen 7 errors today in this game.
And 3 errors in the inning. Naviak watches a pitch in the zone for a strike. The count 0-1. And to even further that point, Foreman reached first base on an error too. So every bag that Foreman took was off of an error by one of the Foresters as Naviak dribbles one into right field, and he's aboard with a single. That is his 3rd hit of the day. Best day of the season at the plate for JT Naviak.
And what a special moment for him because his dad, Mike Naviak, he came all the way from Hawaii for the last week to go see JT. And, you know, today Mikey's here in the stands, and he's watching his son hit 3 singles today. So probably a big special moment for not only JT but also his dad.
Grant Smith, he comes to the box. He's 1 for 3 on the day. He grounded out to first base in the first inning. Then he singled in the third but was picked off of third base as he watches the first pitch in there for a ball. The count 1-0. And then his last time up, he flew out after battling from 0-2 but was not able to get enough under it to drift it out of the park. It went into deep right center field, and underneath it was the center fielder, Kendall Pettis. Back into first base is JT Naviak on the pickoff attempt. Count still 1-0 to Grant Smith. So the new defensive changes for the Foresters leaves the defensive alignment as so. Kendall Pettis in left field. Josh Stinson in center. Ethan Bates in right as the 1-0 brushes back Smith. The count 2-0. At first base, a new substitution. It's Max McGuire at first. And then everything else is the same. So at second base, it's Andrew Kachel. At shortstop, it's Seth Stevenson. At third, it is Dylan Campbell. And behind the dish, it is Dylan Leach. And now the pitcher, Cooper Randall, is going to get a talking to from Bill Pinter, and we're potentially going to see a pitching change. It'd be surprising to do it in the middle of an at-bat. And it doesn't look like we're actually going to get a switch, but there is a pitcher warming up in the bullpen for the Foresters. And I'm sure that Bill Pinter is telling Randall here that it's a short leash. Don't let this game get out of hand. After allowing 2 out of the first 3 base runners and then throwing 2 straight balls to Grant Smith, trying to dial it in, is Cooper Randall.
I think he's just trying to calm him down. I mean, the whole inning's been weird. You have the multiple plays.
Whole game's been weird.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Randall this season, he's impressive. Mentioned the 174 ERA, and he's only allowed 2 runs all year against the Saints, and right here gets a run in off of a couple of errors, and, now he's a little unsettled. He allowed another hit to Naviak.
Naviak's running, though, 2-0, and Naviak's into second base safely. And that was the perfect scenario for JT Naviak to steal. I almost said it before the pitch. Expect Naviak to run. It looked like he got a strong lead, and right after you have a mound meeting, it's the most aggressive you can be on the base paths because the pitchers, they're more focused on the pitcher and catcher are more focused on what they were just told rather than the runner at first. Sometimes you even forget that there's a runner there, and JT Naviak able to use those speeds, the flying Hawaiian into second base and into scoring position for Grant Smith. Count 2-1 to Smith. 2-1 pitch, brushes him back high and tight. The count 3-1, excuse me. Grant Smith, he's trying to get on for the second time today. He had a long streak where he got on twice in a few straight games. I believe it was 6 or 7 straight games where he got on twice. That streak was broken in the game against the Riptide, in which in the game against the Saints. So he swings and misses. The count is run full. The count is 3-2. So now Grant Smith, the first time that he's seen 3 balls in a count today, he had an 0-2 count in every single at-bat so far. So this at-bat, the only time he's watched pitches go by that haven't been called strikes. Right now, he's hoping for another one, but he also knows that it's a 3-2. He's going to get a pitch in the zone. Full count pitch, swings and misses, elevated fastball, and he's sat down on strikes for the first time today.
And that one, it just looked like Randall just got him to chase. It was a fastball that was elevated, like you said, and Grant Smith, he just got under it, wanted the high fastball, just kept on rising, and he goes down swinging. It's a tough break for him, especially with the runner in scoring position, but a little bit of optimism with Zach Gregory at the plate has reached all 3 times today.
Yeah, 3 for 3 day for Zach Gregory in on-base percentage. He walked on 4 straight pitches, then walked on 5, and then doubled in the 5th inning. He's not able to plate a run as it advanced Naviak from first to third. Now he watches a pitch right in the zone. It looked like he was enticed by it, but did not offer. The count is 0-1. Defensive positioning, standard for the Foresters, but there is a big gap right up the middle. Kachel is shaded a little bit towards the pull side for Gregory. The 0-1. Randall off speed above the letters. The count 1-1. Looked like that pitch was going to drop in, but it just spun and did not break. So the count 1-1. A hanging breaking ball that was too far up. Naviak in scoring position. The 1-1 misses outside. The count is 2-1, and that is what Zach Gregory has been great at all day and all season, is being able to identify pitches. He has the best batter's eye on the team, and he takes pride in it. Says that that's his best quality at the plate, is being able to see pitches well. and having fantastic plate discipline. Randall shakes. Still waiting for his pitch. The 2-1 fouled off. It was a fastball that ran high and tight. Gregory offered and was able to get a handle on it. Foul it right back into the screen. Count 2-2 to Zach Gregory. He's had 2 strikes so far today, and once he had a 2-2 count when he lined that double into left field. He's trying to stay alive here. Another one like he had in that inning would plate JT Naviak. Brendan Bobo, he's on deck. Anson Arrows in the hole. Gregory steps out of the box, takes his time. The 5th pitch of this at-bat incoming. Wind gusting out to right field. Backing out is Stevenson. Gregory grounds one to first base. It's going to stay fair. It's going to be a close play. And off the bag first. That Randall was off the bag. And he called him out. The first base umpire got it wrong. It doesn't matter. And the inning is over in the most blatant miscall of the season when we come back on the top of the 8th inning. Eric Ma, the new pitcher, in for the Oaks. Evan Gray, his day is done. He pitched 3 innings. 6 runs came across as the first pitch into Josh Stinson is a ball. The count 1-0. So 6 runs came across for Evan Gray in his time. He had 1 strikeout as the 1-0 pitch misses, the count 2-0. Gray, there were 4 errors in the innings that he had. Just 3 hits in there for a strike. The count is 2-1. Gray also walked a batter. And those all were his final line as he ends his day as Ma misses the zone. The count is 3-1. Stinson, it's his first time seeing the plate so far today. The 3-1 misses inside, and Josh Stinson is going to walk to first. The leadoff man is on for the Foresters. That's going to bring up Dylan Leach. Leach so far today, he has struck out in the first time he came to the plate, but then walked twice. Those came in the 4th and 6th innings. First pitch, line to second base. Smith catches it and doubles up the man at first, Josh Stinson. He was sprinting to second, and a double play to put 2 outs in the inning for Grant Smith.
And man, that's 2 quick outs from Ma right there. And you got to thank Grant Smith on the defensive play right there. But Ma allowed a base runner on with the walk, and that was his 9th walk all season. And he's not pitched that much games throughout the year. But right there, allows a walk and then gets the double play off the line out.
That's going to bring up Seth Stevenson, who watches a pitch bounce. The count 1-0. So Eric Ma, he's gotten 2 outs on 6 pitches. Double play, helping out his total. Ma gets Stevenson to sky one. It's back behind the plate, and it's going to drop just out of play.
It's the second time we've seen a ball land in that area, right in between the net and right in between the bleachers here at Sparky Anderson Field, and I don't think there's been many balls hit there all season.
Eric Ma, he has a 10.28 ERA on the season. He's had 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. He also has 8 walks and 12 hits in his total. A 2.86 whip. The 1-1 misses outside. The count is 2-1. The pitcher getting warmed in the Santa Barbara bullpen. As the 2-1 pitch from Ma catches the zone, the count 2-2. We might see a replacement for Cooper Randall in the next inning, as Eric Ma is trying to go 1-2-3 as he has Seth Stevenson behind in the count. The 2-2 bounces. Count is run full. Eric Ma trying to avoid giving up his 9th walk of the season. His last performance came against the Arroyo Seco Saints. He had 2 2/3 innings pitched, allowed a run to go along with 5 hits and 3 walks. And now he gets a strikeout here to end the inning. 1-2-3 frame to start off the inning for Eric Ma. Seth Stevenson goes down swinging. And we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Oaks have some work to do when we come back on the Oaks live stream. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Oaks, they need to get back 4 runs, and Brendan Bobo is going to try to be the man to start it off. He leads off the 8th inning. Struck out in his last at-bat with 2 runners in scoring position. First pitch to him here. Fouled off into the screen, the count 0-1. Carson Lambert, he's the man who takes over on the hill for Cooper Randall. Randall's day is done. He pitched in just the 7th inning, allowed 1 run to come across. That was unearned. He also allowed a hit and a strikeout. The 0-1 to Bobo. Runs away from Lambert, the count 1-1.
And Carson Lambert was the starting pitcher for the Forsters the first time the Forsters came to town against the Oaks on June 22nd. In that game, he pitched 4 innings and allowed 3 runs.
The 1-1. Bobo fouls off above the screen, the count 1-2. Carson Lambert on the season has a 5.55 ERA, 11.1 innings pitched. He has 9 strikeouts, has allowed 12 hits. His record 0-1 on the season. He was a starter. Those came against the Oaks and the Barons. Since then, he has been relegated to the pen. The 1-2. Bobo fights it off, grounds to third base. Campbell throws on to first, and the play is made for the first out of the inning.
And Bobo today, he did have the sac fly, but other than that, he grounded into a double play, struck out, and now another ground out here. So it hasn't been the greatest day for Brendan Bobo despite the RBI. But right there, he was battling, fought off a pitch, sent it the other way on a ground ball. But Campbell moves over, makes a play, and it's an easy play for a third baseman.
And Antoneros comes to the plate. He has a 1-for-3 day thus far. He led off the second inning with a single, but since then has grounded out twice, once right back to the pitcher and then once to the shortstop. First pitch to him, runs away, and the count is 1-0. Arrows. He did not see deep counts in his first 2 at-bats, but he did see a pretty deep count in the 6th inning, a 2-2 count. The 1-0 misses away. The count is 2-0. And I'd make the argument, Knight, that Antoneros is the most 5-tool player that the Oaks have. In terms of he can hit for power, hit for average, he has speed, can field, he has an arm. The 2-0 pitch, cut through and missed. The count 2-1.
I would argue either him or Grant Smith. I think Grant Smith hits for contact and power while also having a great arm in the field. His speed is pretty decent. I don't know. I think Grant Smith probably maybe up for contention over Antoneros.
I mean, Anson, he has a higher batting average, higher slugging percentage as Anson watches a pitch high and away. The count 3-1. We've also seen Arrows gun down runners at the plate or from behind the plate many times this season. We haven't seen Grant Smith showcase his arm as much. Also see Antoneros being one of the better fielding catchers in the entire CCL. As the 3-1 runs away and Arrows works a walk, the first runner of the inning is on as Lambert lets Arrows go on 5 pitches. And then we know Arrows' speed. He's one of the fastest catchers that we've seen in the entire CCL, and he's one of the faster players on the team even as a catcher.
I mean, I'd say that, like, in his position, yes, he's fast. But I think that Grant Smith, at the same time, he's very versatile in the field. He's made a lot of great plays. I don't think he's had many errors all season, fielding-wise. I mean, we could disagree all we want on
I think
this.
we need to have Anson and Grant race to see who is better at that speed tool.
Is that really the defining factor?
Yeah, and whoever's faster is faster.
Okay.
Lauren Frank is up for the 4th time today. He watches a pitch run inside. The count is 1-0.
I think that would be a really good race just because both players used to play soccer. And so, you know, both baseball players that play soccer, both used to running. I don't know. I think it'd be a close race. But I would still take Grant Smith, maybe.
I'd put my money on Anson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that we're going to have to settle this as Lauren Frank fouls one right back into the screen. Count 1-1. And so you talked about the soccer background from both Grant Smith and Antoneros. There is a kickball game coming up. Sometime this week there will be a kickball game among the players and the interns. And, you know, us on the interns team, we're thinking about not telling Grant and Anson that there is a game happening because, you know, we don't want to get, absolutely mopped as Arrows dives back into first base. We are, in the lightest sense of the term, athletes, and they are definitively athletes.
Yeah, no, and Grant Smith, I mean, he's just really good. I mean, pre-game, he's like juggling a soccer ball like over 15, 20 times. It's ridiculous. Like, he can really control a ball really well from his feet. I mean, it's like he has other hands down there, man.
Yeah, I'm not exactly too coordinated with my feet. I'm in awe of Grant Smith whenever he takes the soccer ball and starts juggling it. Doing penalty kicks between him and Anson Arrows before the game against the Pirates that came on Saturday as Frank fouls off a pitch. The count is 1-2. The first pitch we've seen from him after 2 pickoffs to Arrows. So I thought about it for a second of getting in on the penalty kick action, and then I realized I didn't want to embarrass myself.
You ever play soccer, Ryan?
When I was 5.
Oh, didn't play ever since?
I learned that I was better with my hands than I was with my feet.
Okay, so we're not putting you at the cleanup spot in the intern.
I have hand-eye coordination. Frank lines one into left center field. That's going to get down. Arrows going first to third. Frank is going to stay at first, and a single as 2 runners are on. That makes him on the corners to make way for Greg Melhoff. And Lauren Frank, his first hit since the 3rd game of the season, and it's great to see him on the base paths. And that's going to finish his day. He's going to get pinch ran for as Hunter Call will come to take his place at first.
And that's got to feel good for Lauren Frank. He's been coming out every game, it feels like, just working that hamstring, trying to nurse it back to health after missing so much time, hoping to come back after the All-Star break, and finally does here today. And, you know, it was a tough day coming into it, had a couple strikeouts and a fly out, but finally gets that first hit. And, man, that's got to feel good.
And that brings up Greg Melhoff. He is 0 for 3 on the day. He's grounded out in the last at-bat. That was to the second baseman, but he's also struck out twice. Right here, a strikeout. It's almost worst-case scenario. Only thing worse would be a double play. Hunter Call dives back to first as the pickoff from Lambert is not in time. No play there as McGuire doesn't even make the tag. Big gap down the line in right field and the outfield. Ethan Bates is shaded a little bit to the left. We see Stinson just a few steps to the right of center. The first pitch misses outside. The count is 1-0. And so on the infield, there's a big gap between Cachel and McGuire, first and second. They're really leaving the right fields open to a left-handed hitter. Wouldn't be surprised if Call took second. He's not running. Melhoff swings through the pitch, and Greg Melhoff is even in the count, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 1 runner on first, 1 runner on third. 1 man in the box. That's Greg Melhoff.
Got to think, too, with Hunter Call's speed on first, he's going to be taking off soon.
The 1-1 misses, actually catches the zone. Right on the outside part of the plate, it painted it. The count is 1-2. And I absolutely think right here Hunter Call should be running. First and third scenario. Call has the speed. Last time there was a first and third scenario, it was in the 3rd inning. Zach Gregory stole second base, and then Grant Smith got to Antsy and was picked off of third. The 1-2 Call does not run, and the pitch misses outside. The count is 2-2. So where we've normally seen the Oaks be aggressive on the base paths, they are not here to start off this inning. You see the umpire go and talk to one of the fans, I believe, from the Foresters, maybe a little bit too cagey. So settling them down. Count is 2-2. Melhoff trying to come through for his team. Hunter Call at first, Anson Arrows at third. TJ Foreman is the man on deck. The 2-2, Melhoff thinks about it, does not offer. And that was a close call on the black that went the Oaks' way as Melhoff stays alive in the count. It's 3-2. It just ran off of that plate.
Yeah, man, that was really, really close. And that second strike that was called for a strike was very similar to that pitch right there. And, man, just offside, but it's been hit or miss with the umpire today.
Call should be running on a full count pitch. He goes. The 3-2 fouled off by Melhoff, and he's going to see 6 pitches in the at-bat. Or rather 7. That was the 6th pitch that he just fought off.
And Call was going, but then he stopped, so it's very interesting. I don't know why you do the throw over, maybe. I mean, why would you go halfway and then just stop?
Yeah, you should be running, especially on a full count, unless you're scared of getting doubled up in a line drive. The 3-2. Call is running. Swing and a miss from Melhoff, and Hunter Call steals a bag into second base, but Greg Melhoff strikes out, and that leaves 2 runners in scoring position for TJ Foreman.
It's a win-lose for the Oaks right there. Melhoff strikes out. Then you get Call. He goes to second, and so now you have 2 runners in scoring position. It's a 4-run game, so if Foreman right here hits a single into the outfield, you could get 2 runs to score because Call has speed at second, and that would make it a 2-run game going into the 9th, but right now it's a huge at-bat for TJ Foreman.
Well, I'm not sure if it is a win-lose. The job right there for Greg Melhoff was to advance the runners, and in particular the runner at third base, and it didn't happen. I think it's an unsuccessful at-bat for Greg Melhoff.
Oh, absolutely. I just think it's a win that you get a stolen base, and a lose that you get a strikeout.
Foreman cuts through and misses the count 0-1. Carson Lambert trying to maneuver his way out of the inning without allowing any runs to come across after he allowed 2 consecutive base runners with Arrows and Lauren Frank. Hunter Call came in to pinch run for Frank. Raul Sandoval, the man on deck if Foreman gets on. The tying run is on deck. Foreman watches a pitch in the zone. He's behind in the count 0-2. So far today, TJ Foreman singled in the 5th. Grounded out in the 2nd, and in the last at-bat he had, he reached base on an error by the 3rd baseman, Dylan Campbell. Foreman now has to battle from 0-2. He had 2 strikes on him in the 5th. That was a full count where he flipped that single into the outfield. The 0-2, Foreman swings and misses, and Lambert gets out of the inning. It was almost a drop third strike, but Leach bobbled it and kept it above the dirt. So the inning is over. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left in scoring position. The Oaks, they're down 4. They're trying to keep that and give them hope for the bottom of the 9th with Eric Ma on the hill. When we come back on the Oaks live stream. Top 9, Eric Ma back to work. He had a 1-2-3 8th inning. Now he's facing off against the top of the order. Kendall Pettis, Andrew Kachel, Dylan Campbell. First pitch to Pettis runs high and tight. The count 1-0. Eric Ma in the last inning threw 12 pitches. He allowed the first man on a 5-pitch walk, but then the very next pitch, Dylan Leach, he lined into a 4-3 double play. The 1-0 fouled into the screen. The count is 1-1. And then he ended off the inning with a strikeout on a full count to Seth Stevenson.
Still a tongue twister.
Seth Stevenson. Say it 20 times fast as Kendall Pettis watches a pitch at his eyes. The count is 2-1.
I'm good. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
on
I'd
air.
rather you not. The 2-1. Pettis swings and misses a pitch that was running elevated, and he tried to catch up. So the count, 2-2. Pettis, he's reached base 3 times today. Hit by pitch in the first, error in the fifth, and then a double in the sixth, in which he had a Little League home run. This time he skies one into left center field. Sandoval underneath it makes the play, and Pettis is retired for the first out of the ninth.
The second baseman, number 22, Andrew.
And right now, Eric Ma is probably having his best performance I've seen from him all season. Right now, he's gotten the first 4 batters he's faced out, whether it be a line drive double play, a strikeout, and now here a fly out. It's been impressive today. 4 batters up, 4 batters down.
Trying to continue that streak against Andrew Cachel, who grounds one to the right side of the infield. Bobo squeezes it, steps on first by himself, and there's 2 outs now.
The third baseman, number 6, Dylan Campbell.
So there you go. 5 batters up, 5 batters down, and he's only thrown 18 pitches. It's impressive work from Eric Ma right now.
And Ma, he had a little bit of an issue with his arm that just didn't feel quite right through the first few weeks of the season. He took about a week off, nursed it, got better, and now he's had his best 2 outings back-to-back. First pitch in there, or not in there, it looked like it was coming right down the middle, ended up missing. Not quite sure where, maybe a little bit inside. Count 1-0 to Dylan Campbell, who golfs one into shallow left field in foul territory. Melhoff gives it a look, but Melhoff will watch it go into the cages. So Greg Melhoff didn't quite give an opportunity at that one, as the count is 1-1.
And Eric Ma, he started the first game the Oaks played against the Foresters, and in that game, 6 runs were scored by the Foresters, only 3 were earned from Ma, but he had 2 walks and 4 hits in that game.
This one skied in the shallow infield. Melhoff coming in. Arrows makes the play. He chucks his helmet. It almost hits Melhoff, and he drops the ball. So it's a strike. The count is 1-2. And Anson Arrows was adamant that that was his ball, and he could not corral it. So Eric Ma is going to have to get one more strike to get out of the inning.
Man, he really chucked his
He
helmet. Right?
chucked that helmet. I was scared for Greg Melhoff. I thought if I hit him.
I know, he chucked it. I was like, whoa.
he was aggressive. He wanted the ball. That was his way of making sure that the ball was his. He was taking out his competition. The 1-2. Swing, dribbler back up the middle. Ma makes the play, sprinting over to first, underhands to Bobo, and the inning is retired. 1, 2, 3 back-to-back innings for Eric Ma. He gets out of it. The Oaks, they trail by 4. They have 3 innings to come back in the bottom of the 9th inning when we come back with a new pitcher on the hill for the Foresters. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream. Now batting the center fielder, number 14, Raul Sandoval. He's leading off the bottom of the ninth inning. It's going to be Sandoval, Naviak, and Grant Smith, the men who are trying to spark the comeback for the Oaks. They're down by 4 runs. New pitcher on the hill is Connor Roberts. First pitch into Sandoval bounces. The count 1-0. And the difference today has been the poor situational hitting as it's been for the Oaks all season. The Oaks, with runners in scoring position, they just have not been effective as the 1-0 skied high out of play. And it's going to land this time behind the bleachers. You thought it might land back where we saw it 2 times where it just scraped over the fence. This one had a little more air under it. But today, the Oaks twice have had 2 runners in scoring position. In the 5th, they had runners on 2nd and 3rd. They were not able to score. In the 8th, they had runners on 2nd and 3rd. They were not able to score. As this pitch in there for a strike, Sandoval goes down 1-2 in the count. And then in the 3rd, they had runners on the corners, where Zach Gregory stole second base, so essentially runners on 2nd and 3rd. But while Gregory was stealing at 2nd, Grant Smith got back picked off of 3rd base as Sandoval drives one to left field. Going back is Pettis. He's at the track, at the wall, and makes the play. So Sandoval gave it a ride, but not enough. And the first out of the inning is recorded.
And I feel like that's just been the theme for Sandoval. I mean, all day today he's barreled up some balls. He did strike out in the 5th, but other than that, he's hit 2 hard-hit balls to right field that just haven't gone down. And right there, he sent one for a ride, like you said, to left field. But, man, Pettis on the run at the track makes the catch, and it's an unfortunate 0-for-4 day for Raul Sandoval.
Yeah, and that's not only been the theme of his day today, it's been the theme of the second half of the season for him as JT Naviak comes to the plate, swing and a miss, count 0-1. Naviak so far today, 3 for 3. Singled in the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. He has a stolen base, an RBI, and a run to his name as well. And he watches a pitch miss low. The count is 1-1. So now JT Naviak. The 1-1 count from Connor Roberts. He watches it, missed the plate. It just misses off to the outside part. The count is 2-1. Connor Roberts. He has not allowed a run all season. He's appeared in 3 games, 4 total innings pitched. He's allowed 2 total hits. Naviak watches one at the knees. He doesn't like it. Count is 2-2. In those 4 innings pitched, Connor Roberts has 6 strikeouts. He's 1 pitch away from getting his 7th. Naviak fouls off a breaking ball, stays alive in the count. Still 2-2. It lands out of play.
And, man, that pitch right there from Roberts had some movement. It was going inside on Naviak, and at the last second it jumped towards the plate. His throws have a lot of movement.
2-2. Fastball that Naviak catches up to. Nice job protecting the plate by JT Naviak. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat. He's about to see the 7th. Grant Smith on deck. In the hole is Zach Gregory. The 2-2 off the plate, and Naviak has worked the count full. He's battling right here with Connor Roberts. Roberts only 1 walk on the season. That came in the first outing he had. It was 1 inning against the Ventura County Pirates, the 3-2. Naviak swings and misses, so it went the other way as Naviak goes down swinging the first time he's retired today. And now the final out is Grant Smith. If Connor Roberts can get him, Grant Smith trying to do everything he can not to be that final out.
And that's just a tough break for Naviak. I mean, today he came into the at-bat 3 for 3 with 3 singles and an RBI. There he battles, but can't come out on top of that battle with the pitcher Connor Roberts, and it's an 8-pitch at-bat that ends in a strikeout.
First pitch to Smith. Catches his own at the letters. Count 0-1. Some jeers and disagreement from the stadium here. There's been a few calls the Oaks have disagreed with today. The 0-1, Smith watches a pitch miss low, the count 1-1. Grant Smith so far today, he's 1 for 4. That one hit came in the 3rd inning. He then struck out in his last at-bat in the 7th. It's a ground out and a fly out on the day as well. The 1-1, Smith, it misses him. It hit off the face mask of the home plate umpire. Thought for a second it clipped off of Smith, but it didn't. The count is 2-1. It ran inside for a ball.
It was a close pitch inside, and Smith, he just had to lift his arms a little bit. Did almost clip him. I thought so, too.
The 2-1 misses outside, so now Smith ahead 3-1 in the count. Grant Smith's on-base percentage has been stellar so far this season. It hasn't been so good against the Foresters. They've been the statistically worst team that Grant Smith has faced this season, as the 3-1 misses outside and Grant Smith gets aboard. So just about every possibility that you can have on a day for Grant Smith has happened. He's singled, he's grounded out, he's flew out, he's struck out, and now he's walked. And so the bat is passed to Zach Gregory. That will make the tying run in the hole with Anson Arrows if both Gregory and Brendan Bobo can get on. So Brendan Bobo, he's standing on deck. Austin Carrillo, he has his bat in hand, his helmet on as well. He might be a pinch hitter, whether for Arrows or if the bat gets all the way to Hunter Call, as the first pitch is a strike called to Zach Gregory. He's seen deep counts every time today, a 4-pitch walk, a 5-pitch walk, a 5-pitch double, and a 5-pitch ground out, which we're not so sure was a ground out. The 0-1 to Gregory. Swing and a miss, the count 0-2. That last at-bat was one of the highly controversial calls of the day. It was a ground ball to the first baseman, a tight play at first. The flip was made to Cooper Randall, and what looked to me and what looked to a lot of the Oak side of the field as Randall taking his foot off of the bag before the ball was caught in his glove by almost a full step as the 0-2 runs inside, the count 1-2, was called out by the first base umpire. Grant Smith at first base. Oaks down to their final strike. Conejo already lost once today to the Foresters in a continuation game now. They are in danger of losing twice, falling back and closer into the grass of Orange County as the 1-2 rings him up. And the game is over. The Oaks, they lose 7-3. And the Foresters, they beat Conejo for the 4th time this season. And Knight, talk about this game and talk about the positives for the Oaks.
Well, positives, you got to look at Lucian Westberg, who came out in this game. He faced 18 batters in the 4 innings that he pitched. He struck out 7 of them, and, you know, he only allowed 1 run. He left the game in a 1-1 scenario, and then after that, Evan Gray gave up 6 runs in the next 2 innings with a lot of errors that had happened. And, you know, there wasn't a lot of positives defensively for the Oaks. I mean, you could think of the last 3 innings where they didn't allow a run. Eric Ma pitched really good towards the end of the game, having 6 outs and only about 22 pitches for him. And, you know, all day today, the Oaks, there wasn't a lot. They were really competitive in the beginning. But, I mean, if you got to look at batting-wise, you could think of JT Naviak. He went 3 for 4 with 3 singles and an RBI as well as a stolen base. TJ Foreman, he scored twice today after a single and reaching on an air, and he came around on a couple of weird throws from the Foresters. Zach Gregory, he got on a couple of times as well as having a double in the 5th. So, I mean, those are really what stand out positively, but the Oaks, they struck out a lot. And also, I guess the other positive thing I will say is Lauren Frank, he got a single in his day back. And, you know, that's a big step forward for him after battling back from that injury. But overall today, not a lot of positives for the Oaks as they lose this one 7-3.
It's been the same theme all season for the Oaks as they drop to 9-10 in CCL play. They're within a game of Orange County, who is in action today. That is in San Luis Obispo against the Blues. And I'll say it until the cows come home or until it fixes itself. The situational hitting for the Oaks, it's just not been up to snuff. 3 times today, they've stranded 2 runners in scoring position. In the 3rd inning, the 5th inning, and the 7th inning, there were 2 runners in scoring position, or in the 8th inning, there were 2 runners in scoring position in all of those innings. And in every single one, once they got those runners into scoring position, they were not able to advance them. That's going to do it for today's game. We will be back tomorrow. It's going to be in Orange County against the Riptide. That will come at 6 p.m. 2 crucial games, as back-to-back games will come against Orange County, and the Oaks, as of now, have a 1-game lead on the Riptide, pending the result of what that game in San Luis Obispo is going to be. But we'll see you tomorrow on the Oaks live stream from Ryder Milano and Knight Uretsky. Good night.